Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, everybody. We got Just Roll With It, Cherokee Girl, Smiley Story, Sassy Brenda, Justice Jan. Trying to remember who else I've seen. Cherokee Girl, Rhonda. Welcome, 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 everybody. Angela, welcome. Angelia. So I might mark some names during this. So, okay, guys. Just finished. I was behind on the Depp trial. I started out 3 hours behind when I first started today. I watched every bit of testimony. Cross, original cross, redirect. Object. Hey, Case Candle, welcome. So, I've got that. But I've also got some more stuff on the Summer Wells thing that apparently there's a big brouhaha going all around. People are just now connecting the dots. I do have a clip I want to show from Why Crime. It just kind of shows what Carl over at ELP, what several other creators really intimated when it was first touched upon. But then Chris McDonough comes out with the railroad people and does the interview and says, nope, can't be no trafficking involved. Well, it sure kind of looks funky. My question is, why these specific people you picked? Why shoes? Why postcards? That's just creepy. The videos are creepy. Everything is creepy. Then, well, what's up, Tama? Welcome. Then when you get into the Fables tap dancing videos, like I said, it's been alleged to me that on the bottom of one of the actual shoes, where you can see a signature, is Tim Mullen's signature. So if that's the case, somebody send me a clip, a blip, a screenshot, something where I can see it, because I can't see that. I can't get a close enough shot of it to be able to decipher what it says. But it looks kind of like the maker's mark. So I'm not sure what everybody else thinks about that, but we're going to look at that. I'm going to show you what they Google. We'll see if they're taking stuff down in real time like it's being reported, because I know I've been there 2 months ago. I've been there recently and checked. There's a YouTube channel. There's Instagrams. There's another... My sound is going to change for a minute. Okay. There's another program that's kind of like Russian YouTube. I only know about it because the Dan family that we were talking about, that I watch out of Russia and have for years, just an average Russian family, mom, dad, child, had been saying that if YouTube wasn't allowing them to broadcast the conflict, that they would be available on that other one. I'll just show you guys. It's simpler. We'll share screens. So, first screen share. First thing I'm going to share is Why Crime's partial parts of the video, so you'll understand what it is that I am... Yes, CR, it is smoke screens. And it's irritating to me because I've already discussed this in depth. Like, I brought it up again last month. It's like every month I have to, since like the first month we talked about it, which has been like 3-4 months ago, I have to bring it up again. This is going to be like the 5th or 6th live stream where I've had to kind of address this, because the people, like the other 4,000 people, is just now catching up to where we been. I mean, hello, I don't know. I guess you watching the wrong channel. Yeah, it is CR, because it's like, well, you know, I'm kind of already, any clip that I show, also any I reference, will be available in its entirety, the link in the description. I'm not going to show all of Why Crime's video. It's really good. There's a lot of dramatics at the beginning and stuff. Probably 3 minutes into it's where I'm starting. And we're not going to watch all of it. We're not even going to watch with the sound for most of it. So, here we go. Because I'm going to narrate my words just to show you easier. This is actually a clip from the Glitchy Shoes. We watched this already, by the way. What's up, Pam Tate? We watched this about 4 months ago. Now, hold on, I got to go back. Shoot, I didn't catch it fast enough. It's because I've got it in double time. My bad, y'all. Okay, so the Lev Lelikov, that's the person they're on. Now, I'm going to show you them, but we also go look up the next name, too. I want y'all to pay attention to some stuff. When you first Google that name, you'll see I got it up on my screen. On the Glitchy Shoes channel, Elizabeth. We can Google it. The IMDb comes up, and then this physical readiness YouTube. Now, what a lot of people, there's also the Telegram that comes up, and on the Russian Telegram, it's actually this guy who is a dancer, apparently. It shows him and the chick in pink you can see in competition dancing. When you go back up here, you can go to videos. You don't specify just YouTube videos, because we got the physical readiness, the fun, which are some really, really weird videos that come up under his name. There's the Russian writing and all that stuff on the videos. They're just starting to block some of the videos, as you'll see. Then this is the OnlyFans, but that's the Balkan OnlyFans Telegram channels. It is one of his, but it's also a bot, so I don't know. See, when it's classified as a bot, somebody could have copied and pasted their stuff. Let's look. Elizabeth tells me there's a Joel Brown. Let's check it out right quick. New video. It's under the name Joel Brown. Oh, he was on her channel. Got you. Dancer. Oh, I get why y'all say that about having legs. Because this Joel Brown is in a wheelchair. Allegedly. Gotcha. See, that's not the one I got the videos of dancing. Okay. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay, then we got Shadoki. Okay, then you got Ivo Kotinko. And I hope I can type this in correctly, y'all. I have the worst trouble. So we're going to do IVO. Let's go back and see how to spell it again. Kotenko. Kotenko. Okay, and enter. Yeah, I know. I've heard that. Allegedly. This is what interested me when I typed in this one. By the way, he died November 8th, 2021. This is his obituary. Trying to get to survived by. We're reading his life story, y'all. Sorry. And there's a lot. It's odd to me that they come back to Russia. So he lost his voice and could no longer read or sing at church, okay? It really doesn't tell. I just think it comes back to New York. And, hello, how y'all doing? It comes back to New York and Russia. That's the second name. Just hold on. I'm trying to get it to go back. Here we go. See, it says he's in Fables. And then the only thing else that comes up about him missing. It's a Facebook page. See, when you first put his name in, you get a lot about world dance sport. An Israeli dance athlete. Huh. Or the Russian that died. Yeah, I think so, Miss Rhonda. Oh, it's okay, Elizabeth. You don't need to tell me that path. I can show you. She saw the same video I saw. I'm playing it for y'all. I didn't do it. She didn't do it. Why Crime did it. This is your starting point. They're going to tell you right here. I just showed you. Now, pause. We'll go right back over here. Click that and go to YouTube. God knows what it's going to take me to. All of this is that Lev Levkov dude. They've changed stuff. Yes, they have. But most of it's still here. There's that one I remember because that stood out to me. They've erased their about section pretty much, everything but their stats now. They joined June the 15th of 2021. It's got 1 point, they could be monetized. This is the channel. When you Google the Lev Levkov, it just showed you in this video I was just playing. The Ivo Katinko, however you say it, doesn't take you to a YouTube channel per se. Let's see. Let's go to videos. Yeah, it doesn't even give me YouTube as an option. They got Twitter. But none of these are actually the real dudes so far. Okay, let's go back to this real quick and let y'all finish watching it. I googled Ivo. I just did that. Right there, see, it shows you. And it takes you to the page. Right here. I was just on. Yes. So have I, Cherokee Girl. I think I'm up to 11 aliases right now. This is why I didn't want to talk about it yet. This is why I was still doing research and working on some stuff. This came up on Why Crime. Just came out a day and a half ago. That's where anybody got anything to tell anybody to Google. It's the same thing I just showed you. I don't see any of the videos missing that I just scrolled through. Katie Kitty, I haven't gotten to run record checks on all 11 aliases. Yeah, he does. Cherokee Girl, he uses a lot of social media platforms. And they all have younger children. Mostly boys, though. I'm going to tell y'all something. These are mostly boys. Remember, we're talking about Summer's case. I want y'all to remember, these are mostly boys. In all these videos, even on here, even what it delves into in this channel. Like, I'm going to see if I can't fast forward and show y'all. Where it takes y'all to the Facebooks of some of the kids that are posting. And this about Summer, they're saying in this video here that, just like we've all been saying, that she was coached. I do believe those video clips are similar to the video clips we see posted of Summer and some of other children that have come out during this case. That someone is telling them, encouraging them, dance, turn, twirl, swing faster, jump up, that kind of thing. And I do believe that this is definitely indicative of some sort of CP. I do know that myself and many other creators, subscribers, reported this to FBI, TBI, U.S. Marshals, Hawkins County, months ago. I'm not taking anything away from Y2 Crime. I'm not taking anything away from anybody. I'm just saying it was reported months ago. Right, Rhonda? Months ago. I mean, there's a whole crime unit in the FBI devoted to this. But people also got to understand. What's up, Tracy? Welcome. People also got to understand, and welcome, Katie Kitty. I don't know if I welcomed you or not. And Rhonda Moon, welcome, Sunshine of the Month. Whoop, whoop. I don't know if it's international. Then you've got all these agencies and all these acronyms, as the detective said. All these acronyms and agencies that have to work together. And I've told y'all, 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years may not be too much for a case such as this. If it's this deep. And that's, remember the Remember how I told people just now talking about the webpage, and I love Dr. Latina. I seen her over there at Somebody Credible Talk. Didn't I show y'all the webpage? Didn't I take y'all to the YouTube channel and the TikTok of the dude who was ex-military special forces that run the metadata and checked it and showed in his video that the .onion, didn't I tell y'all what a .onion link was? I had to go ask somebody. I've done all this. We did all this. And now Tim's gone back out of it. Now a lot of those links are buried. But there were links to the dark web, to the deep web, whatever you want to call it. .onion suffix is what I was specifically told was in there. .onion. I explained how, if you notice when you go to Google, you use .com, .gov. You know, that's .com and .gov are probably going to be your two most common suffixes, but those are not the only suffixes used on the web. And those .onions were an indication. Yeah, I heard that from Don B, yeah. That they had a big party a few days before Summer went missing. I want to play a little bit more of this from Why True Crime. I want them to shine. I want y'all to go over there and show them some love from the Sunshine's Anita's world. Let it play slower, but see, critical thinking crime found an ass ton of info, by the way, on the Joel Brown. Okay. These people were scared to put this video out. We all have been scared. Hello, how many times I've been threatened? Didn't I lose my job? People think it's a joke. Then they want to call you a beggar. You don't think there's shit actively going on behind the scenes that is fucking hurting people in their real life? You don't think these people smiling in other people's motherfucking faces, even giving cash apps and sending money while doing everything they can to systematically tear that individual down? Didn't I tell y'all that somebody infiltrated my personal Facebook and was sending messages to people? Sure enough, it's occurring. I am smiling, Pam, because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm in true to myself, my word, and if it means that I've practically about lost everything, at least I haven't lost my integrity. Yeah, it's not a joke. At all. At all. Go over to Critical Thinking Crime. Check out her work. Go to Why Crime. Check out their work. The link is in the description. It's saying I'm not subscribed because it's got me logged in under my backup channel that I'm never on. I don't know why. Hopefully it won't screw us up, y'all. But yeah, when you have international involved, welcome True Crime Cases, Karen Henderson, anybody else that I missed, I apologize. When you have international agencies start to get involved, the red tape, the time that it's going to take gets longer. Period. It gets longer. It takes longer for an issue to get resolved. How you doing? And also know when stuff like this finally comes out, it has to be made sure that everything has been fully documented, because just like people are saying, it's changing in real time, it's being edited. That's what happens. That's what happens. That's why, people may have known about it for months, but we've really not punched on it. We've really not put it out there. You got to give time. It's been reported. The authorities have had time to act on it, to get every bit of information and documentation we could get and give. I don't know any YouTubers, Rhonda. I know me, myself, and I know the Sunshines. If you've emailed me, CR, I've answered you back. I usually try to answer all my emails. It might take me a day or two. What's up, Sergeant King? It's putting stuff in plain sight. It's putting it out there in plain sight so that the average person looking at it doesn't think there's anything wrong. That's what... Oh, thank you, CR. I appreciate you. I had a cigarette. Oh, I'm out of goodie powders. I've been out for 2 days and I'm dying. Oh, anyway. This just like... What's up, Nancy? How you doing? I just don't know how to describe to people the depths of what you see when you run into this and you're not expecting. Understand, when you're doing an investigation and you're looking into a missing child, this is not what you expect to see. Okay, this ain't what I expected. And I don't think these other YouTubers expected. Welcome, Miss Justice. This video that I'm showing you to go watch, April 22nd, I'm not disputing in the least that these creators, I don't know, I don't deal with them. I don't deal with Carl. I don't deal with Why Crime or Critical Thinking Crime. I might watch them. I might be subscribed, but I don't deal. Rhonda, there's something else I know about also being involved, organized with that, and I can't talk about that right now. What's up, Purple Hearts? Manic Mama T. There's some things I still can't speak on. I'm going to play some more of this. I'm not going to play all of it. It gets pretty dark. You guys can go over there, check out the rest. It shows where they included the tree Tony. I'm not including their audio. I'm speaking with the video. So this that comes up is real. Now, let's go back, because his channel was not the glitchy shoes in the beginning. Come on. Okay, not that far. So, the creator of Tree Trony replay movie series Hide in Plain Sight. Go seek. Wow. See, that just hide in plain sight, and then they were playing hide and go seek. The Glitchy Dancer, Joel Flickstein, the Celluloid, Fathering Flicks. Then you got Joel Peter Brown, aka Joel Flickstein, has been very active on social media site in Russia. And it's KZ Clips. And I think, see, today's crazy because didn't Elon Musk buy Twitter today too? Oh God, and he's going to take it to be a private I don't know. Yeah, it was called the Glitchy Dancer when we first checked it out. I'm sure if we can find my very first live stream I did on this, it was called the Glitchy Dancer. And now it's Glitch Shoes. That's what I'm saying. It's been around the same time they uncovered all this is when I uncovered all this. They go to his Facebook friends. I've already done all this. They're all little boys. That's what I keep telling y'all. Everything is boys. And he talked about how the child said that they work at Facebook Russia. I'm going to let y'all go over to their page and see the rest of that. I'm not. This is the YouTube page. These are all the videos. So the videos have not been removed that were on this YouTube page. Very first video, if we can get back, was 10 months ago. This page has been going since the day Summer went missing. Most of what they have are shorts. I'm not showing these kids. I'm not showing these videos. Y'all can go and check it out if you want to. Yeah, it is very disturbing. I have it saved on YouTube, Rhonda, but I don't know. I don't know anywhere else it is. Guys, don't forget, please, if you can, hit that PayPal and that CashApp app. I kind of got hit hard helping out with some expenses. What was I about? Oh, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. That's what I was going to next. I do think, I will say this. What does everybody think about the fact that Candace and all her peoples seem to be scrambling right now and laying low? Just wondering what y'all thought about that. I mean, I personally, look, I personally think there's a possibility that we may see something going on and they might have got wind of it. That's what I personally think. That's what I think, Smiley. An indictment. Thanks, Annette. That's how I feel too. She's not the quiet type, so something's going on. I really feel like that if they have an attorney has warned them that there's a possibility of an indictment. Yep, Grandis is gone again. She sure is. Grandis got gone. So, in the court today, they did not directly address the compact issue in the Depp trial or the flyers. There was some reason that the court started like nearly 40 minutes late, and it's not started 40 minutes late. Yeah, she does get gone a lot, doesn't she? Possibly are getting some affairs in order. Let's see. I had stopped this at a point I wanted y'all to hear part of the Depp testimony.
Your Honor, having received this, I would like to preemptively lodge a hearsay, lack of foundation.
I'll talk in a minute when the lawyers go up here and they cut the feed of the audio.
Certainly not being admitted for the truth of the matter asserted, but I'm happy to approach and discuss it.
I got you, Miss Justice. Did you notice that her and Amber were not sitting there yucking it up? She didn't walk out of the courtroom with Amber. There's a process to which she has to be removed from the case. It can't happen that fast. Also, right now they're trying to admit every bad article that's ever been published about Johnny Depp and his life. There was just some funny quips that come up, and they also had to pull out quite a few articles, so I thought it was funny. But if you did notice, the lawyer had the lavender jacket on today. She didn't get up. She didn't speak. The last time they were in court, her and Amber were yucking it up, and then they wasn't. Yeah, I wonder if she got to go to the concert. He did get a lot of laughs today. He did. He really did. And it was parts like this that was like, I don't know, running through muddy water. Yeah, you can't, the lawyer can't just say bye and walk out. It doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. But if you paid attention to the way they were the last day that Mr. Depp was on trial, I believe it was Thursday. Thanks, Golden Mary. Yeah, I did. True story, Karen, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I heard she had her lights cut off recently. Yeah, the judge was 38 hot about people laughing in the courtroom. Oh, they're taking forever. I hate this part. But if I'd have started anywhere sooner, it wouldn't have worked. Let's speed them up. Let's go to twice the speed until they get there. Even at 2 times the speed, it just looks like Johnny Depp's moving all around, don't it? No, and the judge did get mad. She did not like the people. A hot shot? What's a... Got you, Smiley. We'll have to drop Smiley's link so people can go over there and look at her community tab and give their opinion on that picture. We're almost there, y'all. Yeah, that's what I thought, Miss Justice, that Upchurch wasn't going to allow her in. I know he made it clear he didn't want her there. I wouldn't want to be there if I was her. I don't know, because the courtrooms look pretty full up in here every time I've been there. Good gravy, how long are they going to talk? This was a heated one. Oh, she's handing the papers now. So it's about to be on and popping. She walks fast at 2 times the speed, don't she? Okay, here we go.
Mr. Depp, if you could please take a look at the stack of articles in front of you.
Now this is her lawyers, not Johnny Depp's.
Yes, it's a stack of hit pieces
Yes, the first one's
generated
called
by
the-
Ms. Heard's
just-
publicity team.
Mr. Depp, we're going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. I'm going to ask you
Stating
about
they
the
are.
first one, but we're going to talk about them. The first one is entitled, is from The Guardian. You see that?
Apparently drunk.
Yes, and this is an article from November 15, 2014, entitled, "Apparently Drunk Johnny Depp Cut Off at Hollywood Film Awards Ceremony," correct?
That's what it says, yes, sir.
And the next article is an article from May 7, 2016. It's entitled, "Johnny Depp, Friends and Family Seriously Concerned About Him. Here's Why."
Yes,
Correct.
how did they know?
The next article from May 1st, 2017, before
sir.
Ms. Heard filed for a restraining order.
You're going to hear the judge get mad in a minute.
Published, no, sorry, this would be after May 1st, 2017. The headline is, "Johnny Depp has a clear and epic sense of entitlement, ex-managers say." Published
Yes.
in a Hollywood Reporter, correct?
I was in a lawsuit with them, sir.
The next article from May 10th, 2017 is entitled, "Johnny Depp, a Star in Crisis and the Insane Story of His Missing Millions." Did I read that right?
That's straight from the same lawsuit, sir.
The next article, also from May 10th, 2017, a year and a half before the...
One thing I want to point out was he was talking about how his severed finger affected his ability to play the guitar. It comes up twice. It came up once earlier on in his testimony, and it comes up again later on in his testimony. And he made a very poignant statement at one point that during his addiction and alcoholism and everything else, that the only person that he actually physically hurt was himself.
The op-ed was published. It says, "Johnny Depp reportedly drank heavily and was constantly late on the new Pirates movie set." Did I read that right?
You did, reportedly.
The next
These are
article,
all hit
also from
pieces.
May
These are
10th,
drafts, sir.
2017. Mr.
This is a
Depp,
pathetic attempt.
Mr. Depp, please just respond to the question that I'm asking you.
What's your
The next
question,
question,
Mr. Rottenborn?
the next document, an article published in Vanity Fair on May 10th, 2017,
Yes.
is entitled, "Johnny Depp's Financial Woes Might Sink the Next Pirates of the..."
He just told the lawyer that this was a pathetic attempt. Pathetic.
Caribbean. Did I read that right?
You did, I don't know.
The
how
next
my
article,
financial woes would do
May
that.
25th, 2017, a year and a half before the op-ed was published, an article entitled, "Where Did It All Go Wrong for Johnny Depp?" After a string of flops and a ton of bad press, Johnny Depp's star power looks as wobbly as Jack Sparrow on a plank. Did I read that right?
You read that very, very well.
The next one, Hollywood Reporter, May 27th, 2017. Headline,
I think in a
Pirate
minute, so the
Diminishing
judge
Returns of Johnny
admonishes
Depp.
the court.
Did I read that right?
You certainly did. Hollywood Reporter were very nice to me at the time.
July 12th, 2017. Why are all of Johnny Depp's movies bombing at the box office? Did I read that right?
You certainly did.
November 4th, 2017. A year and a month before Amber published the op-ed. Headline, Johnny Depp allegedly showed up drunk to movie premiere, reports say. Did I read that
Allegedly,
correctly?
reports say. This is hearsay.
June
is it not?
21st, 2018,
Your
6 months before the op-ed was published. Vanity Fair article, the real reason Johnny Depp used an earpiece on a film set.
I think that was
Did I
explained
read
in
that
court the
correctly?
other day. Oh, you did, yeah.
June 21st, 2018, 6 months before the op-ed was published.
No,
Rolling
Miss
Stone
Justice,
article
he's
entitled "The Trouble
more
with
than
Johnny
likely
Depp."
not going to be.
Multi-million-dollar lawsuits,
I don't think he
case,
would, even if they
losing
offered
cash,
it to him.
A marriage gone very wrong, and a
Oh, that
lifestyle
was a
he can't
disaster.
afford inside
Marcia
the
Clark.
trials of Johnny Depp. Did I read that right?
You did. You should read the article.
And the last one, June 22nd, 2018, the Daily Mail, vodka for breakfast, 72-hour drug binges, and spending sprees that beggar belief. Alison Boshoff reveals why Hollywood's reeling over what's being called Johnny Depp's career suicide note. Did I read that correctly?
You did. Who's Alison Boshoff and how does she know?
Mr. Depp, you can't name
Oh,
a
it's one
single
actress.
actress who has benefited in her career by coming forward and stating that she was the victim of domestic violence, can you?
I'm sorry, what was
Objection
that?
calls for speculation.
I'll sustain objection. Next question.
What the heck? What is he? Does he work
When Amber made
and the Screen Actors Guild? Does he work for SAG? Like,
Hearsay got a lot of press attention, right?
oh,
Objection calls for speculation.
All right, I'll sustain objection. Next question.
When Amber made abuse accusations against you in May 2016, you became aware that it got a lot of press attention, correct?
Very quickly, I became aware.
And she became associated with those abuse accusations that she made against you in May 2016, correct? To your knowledge.
Objection calls for speculation.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
You became associated with those domestic abuse accusations that she made against you, correct?
I think that's clear.
And
yes.
you understood that she became associated with those same accusations that she made, correct? You testified to that.
Well, she had a choice. I didn't.
And you talked about the immediate impact
Wow.
that those accusations on May 27th, 2016 allegedly had on your career, correct?
Yes.
You testified earlier in your examination on direct that when Amber made those accusations in 2016, you said you lost, quote, nothing less than everything, correct?
That's correct, sir.
But you didn't try to get the restraining order lifted in 2016, did you?
I don't. If she wanted a
It's a
restraining
yes or
order.
no question. You didn't try to get the restraining
No,
order.
why
did
would
you?
I?
And you didn't have a divorce trial.
because that looks worse. If he had, then you gonna say, why did you find a restraining order? Because that's
Asking if you had a
stupid.
trial. That's
All right,
that.
I'll allow-
You didn't have a divorce trial where you could respond to Amber's accusations of abuse.
No, there were no charges pressed against
You
me.
chose
She
not
didn't tell
to-
the police that I had done anything. She didn't mention my name.
And you didn't have a California divorce judge decide these facts, did you?
Objection asked and answered.
I'll
You
sustain the
chose
objection.
you
Next
chose not to try to clear your name at that time. You were any sort of legal proceeding, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
I'll sustain the objection. Next
And you chose to sign a divorce agreement in which you stated that Amber had not made.
What about the fact that she wasn't
You
supposed to
looked
be
at that,
able
correct?
to speak on their marriage
question. I'll sustain the
in their divorce
In fact, you
agreement,
waited
and she
until
broke it?
Amber wrote the op-ed in the Washington Post in December of 2018 to file a lawsuit against her, correct?
That is correct.
Can you pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 2, please?
It was
Yeah,
the only time
because-
that I was able
Publisher
to
Honor.
speak and use my own voice.
You chose not to sue the Washington Post in this lawsuit, correct?
Objection relevance asked and answered.
It's not been asked and answered.
Hasn't been asked and answered, but I'm not sure what the relevance is.
You chose to sue only Ms. Heard and not the newspaper that published this article, correct?
Objection compound.
All right, I'll sustain as a compound.
You chose not to sue the Washington Post, correct?
Objection relevance.
You're not getting that in. Oh, I know.
Of this article.
Ben was nice. We're gonna have to let people see Ben just a little bit going there.
Seems
I
to
saw
be
you in there.
statements. Yes, I had the opportunity to fight back.
Permission to publish Exhibit 2, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit 2 is already in evidence, so we'll.
Mr. Depp, you realize that the only job for this jury to decide,
Yes, sir.
its only job, is to determine whether this op-ed and this op-ed alone is defamatory.
Objection calls for legal conclusion.
I'll sustain the objection.
This is the only writing that's the subject of this lawsuit that you brought, correct?
Same objection.
Fact, Your Honor. He
Okay,
fully
I'll-
brought
I'll-
that.
Okay, even if it is, can
This
I ask a
is a
stupid
version
question?
of that story of the op-ed that I
Why you
published
hand him a stack
one
of
that was
papers
published
then, if
before,
that's the only
one
article that matters?
one
You
of the versions
contradicting
is the one
yourself
that's
right there, in
published
my personal
prior
opinion.
to this. They changed the title because they were in fear of trouble.
Well, I moved to strike that last testimony, Your Honor.
Well, I mean,
Whether it's the online edition or this edition in the paper, this article is the only statement, the only.
No, it's not, because he's suing on all three articles.
Correct?
Objection.
Nope.
Asked and answered.
I'll sustain the objection.
He's suing on all three.
That does not discuss any of the details of your relationship that we've seen in texts and emails and recordings over the past few days, does it?
Objection compounded. Asked and answered.
Now sustain both objections.
He is getting triggered. He
In
was
fact,
pissed.
this
You can
article
tell it.
doesn't contain any details of your relationship with Ms. Heard.
Objection. Asked and answered.
I'll sustain the
The
objection.
only thing that the article states, Mr. Depp,
He's
is
just
that in
testifying.
2016, Amber made accusations of domestic abuse.
Because they objected and
it was clear that she made allegations in 2016.
And she
So
did that when
then,
she
yes.
obtained a restraining order against you in 2016, correct?
Yeah, I suppose, yes. Yeah.
And even if you disagree with the accusations that she made against you in May 2016, it is a true fact that she did make those accusations in 2016.
yeah, but she didn't make them in a publicized article that went out internationally. Oh Lord Jesus. See, if you've been through a TRO and stuff, you know that he couldn't speak
To your
about
knowledge.
it. He couldn't speak about it until she wrote that article.
words
She spoke about it first.
That Ms. Heard used in
He'd be
this
violating the TRO.
about getting a restraining order against you in 2016, those are true, correct?
I'm sorry?
The words that
Objection.
Ms.
States
Heard
the
used.
document.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Can you go to the third paragraph? Look at the third paragraph, please.
Rotten, but sounds a little bit pissy.
The statement that then 2 years ago, Ms. Heard became a public figure representing domestic abuse. That is true, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
See, they were
Because-
kikiing.
Oh, I
Look
see.
at Lavender's top
I'll sustain
and
the
Amber.
objection. I'll
They not
sustain-
kikiing like they were at all.
In 2016, for the first time publicly, Ms. Heard accused you of domestic abuse.
If she does lose this will be the second female lawyer. The first one, though, was embroiled in a whole lot of bullshit.
Ladies and gentlemen, why don't we go ahead and take our morning recess for 15 minutes? Do not do any outside research and do not talk to anybody about the case, okay?
We ain't recessed for 15. We gonna fast forward.
Mr. Depp, what was your intention with respect to future Pirates movies? Aside from what you've been asked.
This hurt me, though. I ain't gonna tell y'all no
My
lie.
feeling was that these
This hurt me.
characters should be able to
Right.
have their proper
Just roll with it.
goodbye, as it were. A franchise can only last for so long.
I'm gonna speed him up some more because he be hurting me, y'all. I can't take it.
franchise like that, and I thought that the characters deserved to have their way out of to end the franchise on a very good note.
Right.
Continuing,
I think it had to do with those flyers that got handed out, Golden Mare. I really do.
Last
I
week
think
you
that was
said
the
someone
dress.
asked you about a quote where you said you wouldn't come back to the Pirates franchise for $300 million and a million alpacas. You remember that?
I do.
When relative to learning
Loving the
you no longer be a part of
alpacas.
the Pirates franchise, did you make that statement?
I think long before I made the statement, there was a very deep and distinct sense of having been betrayed by the people that I had been working with, the people that I worked hard for, the people that I
Aw.
developed character to, that they initially despised, but somehow, even I stuck to my guns with the character, and it seems to work. So,
Nobody else will be able to play Jack Sparrow.
About the $300 million and the 100 alpacas?
Uh-oh.
Overruled, I'll allow it.
Ha-
I believe I made that statement during a press conference in the San Sebastian Film Festival when I was asked about my
She didn't know, Golden Mare. She didn't know either.
situation.
What year
I'm
was that?
thinking that they might be addressing those flyers. and the compact that came out over the weekend. Because, like she said, they worked all weekend, and they are observing social media.
As soon as my eyes go on, hopefully will.
There's been 5 hours worth of audio come out that's never been heard before recently, too, in the past 24 hours. I've been sifting through that. I brought y'all part of it. I'm not going to make you listen all 5 hours.
What is this document?
There's a lot of gaps and pauses, and
I don't quite know. I'd have to read it to get some understanding of it.
Could we scroll through so Mr. Depp can look at the rest of this document?
I wish we could see what he could see. I agree.
Oh, there it goes.
I think his is wise because she threatened to hurt herself,
This appears to be some
like his mom did when his dad left.
Is this a contract that you entered into?
with Disney.
Your Honor, I'd ask that Plaintiff's Exhibit 804 be moved into evidence and published.
Any objection?
I think it's outside the scope of direct or cross-examination.
I'll rule on that objection.
Okay, and
Ha!
I'll reserve other objections to portions of the document.
No.
Be hearsay.
She gonna say no.
Put all evidence right now.
You better do your job now.
Are you going to come forward with this?
Earn that suit. You better earn that suit. You better earn that suit. That's what they saying. You gotta earn that suit. For real. That's what they making them do. Earn that suit. Yeah, she really totally egging that attorney today. They was all kikied up the last day in court. And it's bothering the attorney. Because if something gets entered into evidence, like the jury actually gets to see a copy of it, then we get to see it.
But he's going to copy that.
Mr. Depp, if I could direct your attention to Section 6 of the contract, which is on pages 8 through 10 of the document.
Right now it's a contract, it's not the text part.
Mr. Depp, what does this reflect?
It appears to be the agreement
Oh my God, even at 1.5 he talks slow.
compensation and merchandise.
See, here's the document showing.
Mr. Depp, at this time, how many...
What's up, Bella Bella?
At that time, Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, it killed me, y'all. He couldn't even remember his fucking movies, for reals. I'm over here shouting movies at the screen. Gilbert Grape.
I'm
Fantastic Beast.
so pathetic when it comes to knowing movies I've done. I'm sorry. I don't watch them. feel better
I don't know,
about-
Goldmere, because part of it was in Australia, which would be illegal.
I couldn't.
I caught that.
What was the question again?
How many...
I have order in the court, or I will have you removed. Understood? Thank you.
How many other franchise films have you been...
Told you the judge got mad. She got big mad just then. Y'all hear that?
There was Pirates. There was, sorry. With Warner Brothers, Fantastic Beasts, and Where to Find Them.
Yep, Golden.
And how does the compensation reflected in this contract compare to what you receive for the other franchises that you've been a part of?
Objection foundation.
He just established that he was a member.
Part of it was in Australia, I think. But then again, I don't know if,
I believe the compensation, obviously, all the
I'm going to fast forward this part, y'all.
back end.
We're going to do what? We're going to do this way.
Agents, lawyers, and this was
Johnny Depp will talk normal speed now.
this is my salary on that film.
Right. But the way I understand is that they kind of gave permission.
That was in,
No, he can't remember the tons of his movies.
If I could direct your attention to the 12th page of the document.
yes. Oh,
Is this your signature, Mr. Depp?
yes, it is.
You can take this down.
He said, ooh. Like it hurt him to look at it, y'all. I
I
can't.
recall that you testified that you don't know
Oh.
during a given period what movies you were working on. So my question is, who would know that?
How the hell did he not know what movie? He can't remember what character he played.
I do recall a couple of the other films that I made after. One was initially called Richard Saves the
I
Class.
usually do Golden Mare.
So they changed it into The Professor, and during all of the
Just at a higher speed.
nastiness over the past 6 years. That film went straight to pay-per-view.
This part was difficult for me, y'all. So I'm glad to fast forward it right now because it hurt.
Produced, it was my company, Infinitive Nile.
He got a plug in for his film company.
And the Minamata, well, the mercury poisoning of a very small fishing village in southern Japan. There was that one, and then there was a film called Waiting for the Barbarians with Mark Rylance and Robert Pattinson. Those were 3 films that I'd done.
Mr. Depp, during your cross-examination, Mr. Rottenborn showed you a number of text messages between you and Paul Bettany. Do you remember that?
I do.
Could you please explain to the jury what your relationship with Mr. Bettany is?
Mr. Bettany and I had, we'd met while I was making a film called The Tourist in Venice, and we were, it was an instant connection. He's born and bred in the UK and has that
I know, right, Miss Justice?
sort of dry, kind of obtuse, abstract sense of humor. And that was
Oh, Bella, there's a lot left. We're just 2.5 weeks into a 6 or more week
even if it
trial.
was a difficult or unpleasant situation, we would
Johnny
do
finished
our best to deal with it with humor.
recross today.
Just
Just as recross right now.
Anything of that nature, dealt with it with humor, albeit sometimes, as these are private texts.
He's telling that the one where he was talking about burning their corpse and the witch and stuff is a Monty Python
It's important
skit.
to know that none of it was ever intended to be real, and the language that's used. which
You
I
can see his stutter present a lot during testimony today as well.
spread on the world like peanut butter.
Spread on the world like peanut butter.
For example, the text that is about burning Ms. Heard is it's directly from Monty Python in the sketch about burning witches.
See?
And then drowning the witches. This is a film we all watched when we were 10, and it's just irreverent and abstract.
Right, it would have Miss
That's
Justice
what we were
pirates.
doing in this text.
The text message that you just referenced, other than Mr. Bettany, who else saw that text message at the time?
I just think Coke in a Box should now be a song.
Based on your own observations, how would you describe
Don't
Mr.
put your
Bettany's
Coke in a
relationship
box
with his
because you
person?
leave a trail of rocks. Hey,
Abominable.
don't put your Coke in a box because you leave a trail of rocks. Johnny Depp said, don't put your Coke in a box because you leave a trail of rocks. Oh,
Mainly
What's up, Muley?
Such close friends. For her, he was a threat, and would.
yeah, it is public golden mare.
With regard to if Paul Bettany was getting the attention from me, that was a showstopper. It would cause all kinds of unpleasantries, to the point where when we were on the island with Mr. Bettany, his wife and his 4 children, Ms. Heard and Mr. Bettany got into some debate over lunch, and I just remember that whenever Mr. Bettany tried to make a point, she would talk over him, and then it started to get quite rude. She got mean, and she got loud, and then I believe it was his 18-year-old boy who was getting ready to go to a really very bright, brilliant kid. He entered the conversation because it was something to do with what he'd studied in school, and he knew quite a lot about it, and he voiced his opinion. And Ms. Heard demeaned that young man to the point of where he burst into tears and walked away. And it was at that point that I had spoken to Ms. Heard and said, that's just unacceptable. That behavior is unacceptable. You have no right to demean that boy. You cannot always be right. You should try being wrong sometimes because you might learn something. And then I asked her to. I thought it was
Yeah, yeah, I know, right?
Can you please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 245? And Mr. Depp,
I
you
saw
have a
that.
text message with Mr. Bettany that you were shown on your
Oh,
cross-examination.
He said, oh, yay.
And directing your attention to the text message at the top of the page from May 30th, 2014, do you recognize this text message you sent to Paul Bettany?
Yes, I do.
And could you please describe to the jury what you were conveying to Mr. Bettany in this message?
This again is I suppose an example of the way that I write and express myself. That is to say, you stretch your situation out to give him the understanding that you're drowning, essentially. So everything that I say here is, in fact, an impossibility for the human body. I would have been, well, I would have certainly at least had to be rushed to the hospital for a stomach pump. There's a line here that, if you don't mind, I say this, when I say I'm done, I am admittedly too fucked in the head to spray my rage at everyone I love, for little reason as well. I'm too old to be that guy, but pills are fine. Pills that were referenced were the pills that I that I was coming off of. And
Right, Millie. I'm with you on British Ben and the book.
they were the only things that some semblance of the same numbing effect that I searched for as a child with
Okay. I'm getting ready to put him on 2 times.
in the head was
I love you, Johnny, but you're killing me, bro.
kind of like
You're too wordy.
since you were a child.
I get it. Somebody said, can you fathom having to have an argument with Johnny Depp
Brought to me.
or a conversation,
Ms. Earp is well aware of my past.
and instead of yes or no and this and that, it's all those words. And I said, oh.
So at this point, I felt like
I said,
that little boy again.
ooh, it might would drive me insane, you
If
know.
I'm doing anything right, I guess I will never be happy. I guess that this is who I am. I can't get along with this person. But it's confusion. It's nothing that you can. It's nothing that anyone could sustain for any length of time. It's nothing that anyone should have to sustain for any length of time when you're being demeaned, berated, judged,
Okay, Johnny.
and treated like a lesser animal, and treated as if I'm only surrounded by
He's
death
killing
and
me.
bad father, and these things were endless.
Yeah, I see so many metaphors, and it's like, oh, please stop.
It's hard to understand why someone that
Bruh, draw back from
would be
Kentucky.
that cruel. And those are times where you just say, okay, I'm going to try to not have a
Yeah, definitely the real him. I agree, Smiley.
because I knew where
Definitely not acting.
circular pattern of psychological abuse.
Mr. Depp, what do you mean when you use the term blackout in this text message?
Blackout. Yes, because I'm
But
talking about
is the way, oh God.
2 bottles of champagne.
This part's funny though, y'all.
Days, have a bottle of whiskey. Those things, had that been all absolutely true, would have not only caused a blackout, but it would have caused a severe alcohol poisoning, overdose. I would have had to have gone immediately. If that were true, I would have had to have been taken to a hospital. I would have just died. No, blackout.
Oh yeah, Millie. So I'm fast forwarding through Johnny. Ben's next.
On alcohol. But the pills that I had my addiction, that I was addicted to, the roxicodone, which are very, very powerful opiates. I took 2 of those would knock me out. That is to say, so there's blackout, which is you can be a person can be wide awake and wreaking havoc, or having a giggle in a blackout and never remember it. But when you are
Yep, Smiley, I think so too. I think he tries to tell the story
it knocks you out.
in a way that people can see everything he sees and get to the conclusion he got to.
You go on what's called denial.
That's why he wants to word it the way he's wording it, you know?
And I found that much more accepting than having to hear constant badgering. And
It's kind of point of view.
Mr. Depp, I'm going
Thanks.
to show you Defendant's Exhibit 153, which I believe Mr. Rottenborn also showed you last week. Do you remember seeing this during Mr. Rottenborn's examination of you last week?
Yes, I did.
Now, I'd like to show you the full text exchange, which is in Plaintiff's Exhibit 120, and since there's been a number of text messages drawn from this document, this would be Plaintiff's Exhibit 120.
This part.
This would be 4 and 5, Your Honor.
Look at her trying to look so innocent and perfect. Y'all see her glasses? If they tinted, she'd have his glasses on too. It's just crazy. I don't know.
Mr. Depp, who are you communicating with in these text messages?
In fact, though it says Marina,
Yeah, I bet so, Millie.
these are texts between my ex, this says Vanessa, parody the mother of my children, and this is again, abstract humor that we're conveying back and forth to one another. This was all, it was a joke. It certainly wasn't about Miss Heard. We didn't speak of it much.
It was a way to blow off steam and talk shit. Say it for what it was.
I don't recall who it was. I don't recall who it was, but it was someone that,
Ben looked like, get me the hell out of here. Y'all Americans are crazy.
I think it was, oh, I think the possibility is that
Johnny hurts me talking sometimes, so
in fact, we had
I'd be the one that would walk away. He'd still be talking and answered a yes or no question, and I'd have done went and done a load of laundry and come back.
10, 11-year-old boy, Jack, who was bright enough to do it.
I love when Ben would go, oh,
He walked up
Oh.
on his desk in his bedroom.
sorry, oh,
And when he
sorry,
came home,
yeah.
We can move on. Okay.
Ben was like, oh, hell no, this is not like the UK.
Last week. Do you remember seeing this email exchange? You could scroll down as well, please. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Who are you exchanging these emails with?
Stephen Duders, who was at the time my assistant.
And what are you and Mr. Duders discussing here?
Gobbledygook, essentially. It was as I remember, it was a day of work, and there were times when I would send a text to Mr. Duders.
Lord Sassy.
He's a worrisome type. I would send him a text in jest, of course, and to
True antique little girl.
get some reaction out of him. So, I would tell him things like, I woke up and I'm bleeding profusely.
Oh, I know, Millie. Ben did. Yes, he did. He did. Basically, he did. How would you describe her actions? A petulant child. I said, ow.
Bizarre circus that I was telling
Go,
him
Ben.
in my room.
Go, Ben. It's your
It was a
birthday.
joke to just
It's your
throw him
birthday.
off, worry him, and make laugh.
Mr. Depp, what if any portion of this email exchange is literally true?
Listen, he's 60-some-year-old, y'all. He's pushing 70. He don't look too awful bad.
1:30 p.m. Hope you rested well.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to talk to you about the text messages that Mr. Rottenborn showed you where you refer to the monster, and this is in the context of...
Oh, I know that's right, Cherokee girl.
Yes.
First, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 427, please, which is a text message from you to Jerry Judge.
Everybody loves some
How are you using
Ben.
the term monster in this context when you're communicating with Mr. Judge?
Oh, this was so tedious and irritating.
The monster could essentially, the monster could
Oh, God, y'all, this answer, listen.
separate things.
The monster was referring to when he would drink. We're going to fast forward just a little bit. Because he's still answering the question.
Falling for that or taking the bait to allow myself.
Told y'all, I'm not kidding.
A conversation which led to argument, which led to physical violence. It was not going to be good, so I just walked away, which drove her through the roof.
Why would you use the term monster when communicating with people other than Ms. Heard?
It took him 4 minutes to answer that question.
I mean, it was, as I said, that was her go-to, the monsters here, monsters back, monsters. So I would refer to the monster again in terms of
He was being fucking sarcastic when he talks to his friends.
friends, Patty Smith, the monster.
Yes, Amelia, I think it is the stutter. And I've noticed the stutter has become demonstrably worse as the days of this trial have worn on.
And I've had a drink, or I've been drinking. But my drinking, again, was not to excess. I would never went to blackout.
I think also when he was medicated, self-medicated, that the stutter was less prevalent as well,
Constantly in a position
from
to
what
be
I
harassed
understand.
by your beloved other. What else could I do?
I mean, it sounds cold-hearted in a way to say, but it just,
Especially
there's
from one who had professed
an old
such
school
love for me, but gave me mostly hatred.
saying, like Big Mama knocked a stutter into you.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 161.
Yes, I do give the flags, Millie.
Again today.
Yeah, Texas Straw's not that fun.
As between you and Ms. Heard?
Yes, I did.
I got it sped up for
Why
y'all
did
though.
Ms. Heard that there's a book called Disco Bloodbath?
When I texted her, 2:30 in the afternoon, I was in a bookstore.
It's gonna take him 2 hours to tell y'all
Bookstore there were a lot of
that the reason is because she loved to collect books and read, and he thought it was
Disco
funny.
Bloodbath, and I thought it was a funny title. I can't say that was necessarily referencing anything other than I thought it was a funny title, Disco Bloodbath. It sounded like a sort of a bad slasher movie to me. So I said, just so you should know that there exists a book titled Disco Bloodbath, that's all. And she said, we need that book. And then she asked me, is it about last Friday night by any chance? And then my answer to her, how can you make me smile about such a hideous moment? The fact is this is a lighthearted exchange. But she's been saying, we need that book. Then she makes reference to last Friday night, which I don't recall what last Friday night was or whatever, so I just how can you make me smile about such a hideous moment? A hideous moment could have been some grotesque thing that we saw on television. It could have been anything. I don't recall now, but all I was saying is, and it even says at the end of my text, that's all. Just goes like that. You know? So this was not we were not butting heads in this exchange whatsoever. It was very lighthearted.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 375, which is another document.
Right, Smiley. I agree.
Could you please remind the jury what's...
It had to be hard and difficult.
This is from Australia, on March 8th, I believe it was, where
Oh, God.
after my finger had been taken off, I began.
I still have him in 2 times
I was
speed, y'all.
started writing on the mirror, on walls, and basically what these were for me to Ms. Heard were reminders of moments in our
You'll hear it when the lawyer talks. Listen, she sounds like Alvin in the
caught her-
Chipmunks.
caught her, where it was revealed to me, even by her, that she had been caught in lies that she had told me. So
You're so vain.
The red lipstick.
I like the remix that they did.
Call Carly Simon. She said it better. In reference
There's,
to
what is
yourself,
it?
I imagine. But that's not my
Bet you
concern.
think this song is
Carly Simon,
about
that's not my
you.
concern.
Don't
So let's just break this down a little bit. Who wrote the text that's in black?
so.
That would be me.
And what does that say?
It's a remix.
She
Fly.
was- I don't have to think like
I love Carly Simon. Amber better leave Carly Simon alone. The whole internet will boycott her.
What that is Ms. Heard had come to me.
They'd be like, no sir,
Seriously concerned about how she was being.
not Carly. Might as well tag Tina Turner.
She was concerned that because she had done films where there was kind of arbitrary nudity, things of that nature, she had voiced to me that she did not want to be. She didn't want to be looked upon that way in the industry. She wanted to be able to escape the chains of being objectified by the Hollywood system, which is a difficult thing for any woman, certainly, unfortunately. But she asked me how.
You see her shaking that head? Oh, she got mad right then, y'all.
As the beautiful blonde who
She's big
who
mad.
who goes naked and has to shtuck people in movies, and I gave her my advice on it, on how to avoid it.
Big man.
Gotcha. And
Oh,
she's
What's
ambition
up?
was stronger than what she received from my advice. What it was. My advice that I thought long and hard about because I did care for her. I didn't want-
we're watching your favorite person.
Early on in my career, I was
Look.
put in a position where, I could have gone on, I could have been just a guy who was on a TV series for a couple of years. And, what was left for me would be on lunchboxes and thermoses and posters and teen idol things, and I fought that tooth and nail because I didn't. That's not who I was. So I had experienced something similar in terms of being looked upon as something that I'm not. So I fought against it in the very beginning, and it worked out for me for a while there, and I was giving her basically the same advice.
Never heard of that.
Now, Mr. Depp, you said that you did not write this.
I always
portion
we didn't be brought up.
Call Carly Simon. She said it better. Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's not mine.
How do you know that it was
Ain't my baby.
You charge it on top of the top.
That's
There
why.
are
I mean, it makes sense. That would be easier.
well, first it doesn't. It looks like it's trying to match my handwriting, but my handwriting is a lot more
I just know,
scribble.
but I just want to go
And also
on,
there's another photograph of this where she ran in to make
I
sure that
just
there
want to
were,
go on
that
YouTube with mommy's,
red was more prominent. There was also nothing down there where
but
someone
it's
white.
charging, but
No idea what they think.
Do you recall whether the lipstick writing was on the mirror when you wrote it?
It was.
No, of course not. No.
But that's been like a week.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you one of the text messages that Mr. Rottenborn showed you
Yeah,
concerning the three
it's okay.
fingers. So if you could please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 398.
Did you like your teeth? We found you.
Yes, I did.
We got that on clearance at Walmart. Half price.
I love you.
This is a text message from you to Dr.
Love you
Kipper
the
that
most.
Mr. Rottenborn showed you on cross-examination. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And why are you apologizing to Dr. Kipper in this message?
about that, Mommy Taylor was down like Cover said, but
Oh, we gotta tell you something real quick.
I believe that
You can be heard.
at that point in my
Say a bad word.
Okay.
brain, in my
Hold on, let me
I
move.
was completely and utterly frustrated with how I was living my life, and I had had some disagreement with Dr. Kipper, and I was apologizing to him for having gone against his wishes, or gone against his advice, let's say.
What did you mean when you said, I have chopped off my left middle finger as a reminder that I should never cut my right finger off again?
It's my way of dealing with dealing with a painful situation. It's my way of dealing with a painful situation where I resort to humor. So I had lost the tip of my right finger, and so I'm saying to him, I've now cut off my left finger to remind me never to cut my right finger off again. That's not, I mean, when you say I got my finger cut off or I cut my finger off or this or that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you did it yourself. And again, I'm a guitarist and have been since I was 12, and that was the only piece that I found in my life at the age of 12 where I knew I knew who I could escape into music and learn music. And the last thing, I'm a guitar, I mean, I still play the guitar with, it's still my first love, aside from my children, it's still my first love. There's no reason in the world why I literally would cut my own finger off to ruin this beautiful opportunity that I was given at 12 to learn how to play the guitar. And again, why would I start lopping off digits in my 50s if I as Mr. Rottenborn suggests, am a kind of, a walking tantrum? When I was younger, why wouldn't I just start chopping off fingers or some kind of, why would I ruin the only thing that was really good in my life aside from my children? So when this finger went, the tip of this finger went, the only thing I could think in my mind was, thank God it wasn't the left hand, which is the fret hand. I'm right-handed, so that's the fret. That's where the fretboard is. If you lose a finger from your left hand, I'm not Django Reinhardt, who had only 2 fingers to play with. If I'd have lost a finger from here, I would have had to relearn how to play the guitar all over again. It's just not the case. Even though I say I've chopped my finger off, it's like saying, I bumped into a knife or something. It's not. I'm not admitting to. I think if I was going to admit to someone that I actually chopped my finger off, this text wouldn't be as it is. I think it would have been a long explanation as to why I got to that point. But no, I can't take responsibility for what I now call Little Richard, my chopped finger.
Mr. Depp, at the time that you sent this text message to Dr. Kipper, had you told him what had actually happened to your right finger?
Oh yes, yes.
And when did you tell him that?
He was aware of that day, the day that it happened. Malcolm was aware of it. Jerry was aware of it. Stephen was. Everyone was aware of it. And of course, yes, when I went to the doctor, the emergency room, I lied to them because I didn't think it wise to cause a ruckus, implicate Miss Heard, and then have 8 million stories out in the press about how she'd thrown a bottle of vodka at me, and it smashed all the bones in the tip of my finger and cut off about, it was all sliced down. You've seen the pictures. It was pretty horrible. It was, and I didn't want to put her in that situation. I didn't want to put any of us in that situation. I didn't want to put the film in that situation. That was why I said it was crushed in an accordion door, and it was only the second doctor who actually told me what he was.
Your Honor, hearsay?
I haven't finished my sentence. How do you know?
I'll over for a moment. Go ahead.
Actually, thank you. It was the emergency room doctor was first. The next day I went to see a specialist, a pan surgeon, and this was still in Australia, and he had recognized that my excuse for the finger being gone.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay. What the doctor conveyed to him about his thoughts on the finger injury. That's classic hearsay.
Your Honor, it's in the context of medical treatment.
No, I'll sustain that objection.
Your Honor, I think this is a good stopping
All
point.
right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take our lunch recess again. Do not do any outside discussions, and don't talk to each other about it, okay? We'll see you after lunch, okay? If everybody in the courtroom could still be quiet, please. Court is in session. Thank you. All right, so we can take a recess till 2:20. Just for planning purposes, though, I plan to go to 5:30 today since we had a late start. So just let you know. I know you plan on having a remote witness, which is fine. Just let us know so we can set that up. But also make sure your remote witness knows this is a courtroom. I don't expect them to be any outside noises or anything else going on in direct attention. And also if they would know that if there's an objection for them to hold off answering until it's resolved. Because we're all remote witnesses when we get to them, okay? All right, let's get 2:20 then. Thank you.
Sorry, I'll get to Ben, you guys. I'm not muted no more. Y'all should be able to hear me. Hold on. Here we go. This is where they're coming back and Ben's here. Can y'all hear me now? Sorry, I had to.
Of course, go to a hospital.
Australia, exactly. The time difference, sorry.
God, I thought it was already with me.
And so when relative to when your finger was injured, did you send this text message to your best recollection?
Sorry, little man came in. I had to help him.
This looks like it's at the time to me.
And in the middle
Got
here,
my
it says,
chai latte.
her obsession with herself is far more important. She's so fucking ambitious.
Oh, Lord.
She's so
I'll
desperate
need
to
it for
success today,
this.
That's probably why it required me. What do you mean by that?
I wish I had liquor.
Unfortunately, I meant exactly.
I want my mega pints. Can y'all hear me? Give me a 1 if you can hear me.
They were. She seemed to take more care and importance in going on auditions, getting.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, because I was seeing muted. Yeah, she likes to spend money, his money. I wasn't. I want my mega pint of chai latte.
Going to.
I need goodie powders. Oh.
Or opening or whatever, where she could be.
It's here.
Photographed. Sorry?
I believe he was responding to what he meant by what he wrote in his text message.
Exactly exactly what the word said. Now he's going to
All right, let's take the question.
Thank you, Mr. Robinborn.
So if you could just answer attention just to your attorney, okay?
Oh, talk about just talk to your attorney.
Audio recording where you reference your finger getting cut off in Australia. Do you recall that?
Loving it.
Okay. I'd like to play a different version of that.
Please,
recording.
y'all, if you can, please hit the
So we can
the
just
Cash
select
App and
this
PayPal.
and we will
It's
be playing
screaming right
1
now.
hour, 54 minutes, 11 seconds to 1 hour, 56 minutes, 10 seconds.
It's early, it's quick, it's so not, you're not interested in not fighting. You are guaranteeing fighting when you do that. And I told you this so many times. You guarantee if you were interested in not fighting, you would be respectful if you needed the space to make you be careful not to perpetuate the fight longer by saying, I need a few minutes. And then actually honoring that. How can I trust you that it will be a few minutes when you've done this in the past and disappeared for hours? You know, I felt bad at you in Australia about this. I said, baby, I want to trust you. It's hard for me not to try and work it out. If you want to be the person that's like, I need to cool down, help me do that. Give that to you.
Okay,
Give it to you.
I can't make y'all have to hear her 2 times.
No, it's different. It's different. You never.
If it happens, I'm just going to say, look, I need some time. That's it.
We can't listen to her in 2 times speed.
I'm telling you, that will make it worse.
No.
I guarantee you it will.
Whoa, Millie, yeah.
I'm not talking about
What's $500 a bottle? It's $5 a bottle's high. I drink Mountain Dew and chai latte, great value Walmart brand.
I'm talking about arguments. I'm talking about arguments.
Yeah, you got to cut up through it. That's the only way, Millie. I agree.
Right away, you don't deal with the issue, you don't deal with the confrontation, and you spend
Now this is.
and then you do it for an undetermined amount of.
I want y'all, when you're listening to this, by the way, we're a group of survivors. And when you're listening to this, listen to this with the ears of a survivor on. Does this feel like a survivor talking? There you go, Millie. Barefoot is me getting the expensive stuff. If I get me some barefoot. Oh. Snooty face, right? Food Line, one of my favorite grocery stores. That gummit, what am I sneezing for? Little man that gave me allergies. Oh, I'm gonna have to blow my nose, y'all. I'm gonna mute me and let Johnny talk.
Of time, you do it without actually respecting. When you do give me a time, like say I need a few minutes, you never.
Mr. Depp, whose voices can you hear in that audio recording?
Ms. Hurd and myself.
And there was a mention about Miss Hurd getting mad about something in Australia. What did Miss Hurd get mad at you about in Australia?
There were many instances where Ms. Heard would get upset, angry, and argumentative and violent in Australia. There were many times. The one that was the day when tip of my finger disappeared, that had to do with a phone call. When she arrived in Australia, she complained that an attorney who was explaining to her
Objection, Your Honor, is hearsay as to what he alleges her attorney was explaining to her. That's clearly
We can move on, Your
Okay,
Honor.
yes, ma'am.
In the context of this audio recording that we just heard, what to your understanding is Ms. Heard referencing when she says you split?
I would excuse myself from the situation. I would try to get away so that nothing escalated. Because if given the chance to allow things to escalate, Ms. Heard would take it to the very extreme, which ended up with my finger being chopped off. So I rather thought it was the best idea to avoid things like that.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 272. I believe this is another document that you saw during your cross-examination. Do you recognize these text messages?
Yes,
And these were after your detox on the island, is that right?
that's correct.
Now, where it says here, this was the right thing to do to speed up the process. What are you
I forgot I was on mute again, dadgummit. Are these these are some of the texts that you guys were asking about earlier? Let's see. Y'all was here. I thought y'all was hearing me blowing on my chai latte. I'm just letting y'all see the text good, and then we'll go back to there. We
What are you
go.
referring to there?
Man, it's his private text. He talk crazy shit if he private texted.
I was going through the process of detoxing from the opiates, which was a very unpleasant and powerful, painful process. It wasn't working with Miss Heard there. I could not properly detox.
He needed her to leave so he could get off the dope.
Another problem or this or that. So I asked.
I'm speeding his ass up again.
And go back to Los Angeles. And
Okay.
ask her if she would please allow me to.
I'm going to give the short answer, not the Johnny Depp answer. He was trying to get clean. That's somebody he wants to look good in front of. He's not trying to look like shit and be puking and shitting all over himself in front of her. So he asked her to leave so he could privately deal with his demons and go through the worst and not try to just, keep going and try to look good and have to worry about what she felt or what she thought.
Get a bungalow at the Beverly Hills Hotel where she and her friends would go for.
So he sent him on a spa weekend.
Where I could finish the detox by myself without any unnecessary interruptions or unpleasant interruptions. To which she replied that she was felt like I was throwing her out and abandoning her, and after all she had done for me. And the fact is, though, no matter what I wrote to her mother and to her, I needed the time because I would have gone straight back to the pills. I would have not been able to detox properly without that time alone. And she reluctantly gave me the time. And I sent her and her friends to a Beverly Hills Hotel and a bungalow and went through the detox by myself in Penthouse 3 for the next 5 or 6 days.
Oh.
Mr. Depp, last week Mr. Rottenborn showed you a video that was taken of yourself where you're slamming some cabinets. Do you recall that?
This chai is Walmart brand, and I brew it in my coffee maker. I can't afford no Dunkin', and it actually is caffeine free. I'm gonna leave y'all for just a second. Apparently, I'm being bellered at from the nether regions, so I'll be right back. I'll mute myself and let Johnny talk.
First of all, where are you in that video?
That's the kitchen at a house that I've on Sweetser that I've lived in since mid-90s.
And do you recall what you were upset about in that video?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
I don't recall, as I don't know the date of. There's no metadata that I'm aware of for that tape. Also, Apparently looking for any metadata isn't possible as it is now owned by...
I'll sustain the objection. Can we ask the question
Mr.
again?
Depp, what do you remember, what, if anything, do you remember being upset about that resulted in what was seen in that video?
I can't recall if it was bad news about my mother's health. I can't recall if it was something to do with my former business managers, finding out that they'd taken me for a very nasty ride. I don't recall exactly what it was about. What I do know is that it didn't have anything to do with her.
Objection beyond the scope of the question.
Overruled, I'll allow it. It's fine.
There was nothing between us before she entered that room. It was me alone.
Okay. Do you know where Ms. Heard was before she entered the room?
I assume that she was up in the, she'd gotten out of bed and gotten dressed and come downstairs.
Mr. Depp, earlier today, Mr. Rottenborn played a recording where you can hear Ms. Heard seeming to claim that you put a cigarette on her. Do you remember that?
I remember hearing that, yes.
I'd like to play you another recording, which is Plaintiff's Exhibit 365.
Okay.
And this is, for the record, an 11-second recording, so we'll be putting in the entire.
All right. Any objection to 365? All right, 365 in evidence.
Couch. 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 You give me one couch. I gave you 3 other couches. Two couches. Give me one, please. Please, give me couch. Couch. I want couch. I want couch. Agree, please. So you said you agreed before we started talking. I'm gonna stop it. Yes.
Your Honor, she said it's
Everything
11
says
seconds.
the nasty and provoking, mean-spirited, and no, I'm not saying nasty. You asked.
I'm sorry, I think I misspoke. It may have been 45. I may have misremembered.
It's
It's
11 seconds long.
I apologize. I misremembered.
All right, it's in evidence.
Can we ask them to move the media player so we can see it? We do have it on the screen, so.
Okay, it's
For the last second, we didn't publish it. Okay. Okay.
Can we play that? Thank you.
Couch. 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 You give me one couch. I gave you 3 other couches. Two couches. Give me one, please. Please, give me couch. Couch. I want couch. I want couch. Agree, please. So you said you agreed before we started talking. I'm gonna stop it. Yes. Everything you said has been nasty and provoking and mean-spirited. No, I'm not saying that. You asked me yours. By the way, you just threw a fucking cigarette on me.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize what's in that recording?
Do I recognize what's in the recording?
Yes.
Seems pretty clear that she's ordering me to the couch. And I didn't want to go through with any, again, avoiding confrontation, trying to avoid confrontation in any way. I can certainly say that without hesitation, there is no way under the sun that I would flick a cigarette at her or burn her with a cigarette. If I flicked ashes and an ash got on her, but she's certainly not screaming out in pain as if a cigarette is being put out on her. That's ludicrous.
Do you recall the situation that's reflected in that audio recording?
I believe that's Montreal, Toronto. This was right after the Aspen Festival. We were at the Toronto Festival.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to ask you about a couple text messages from May 22nd, 2016 that Mr. Rottenborn asked you about earlier. And before I do, could you please remind the jury what was going on between you and Ms. Heard on May 22nd, 2016?
On May 22nd.
I know the couch part was irritating us all, I think.
On May 21st.
Good doggy.
She wanted, I hadn't seen her since the 22nd of April, her birthday, which was when I left at 4:30 in the morning.
I know, right? She annoys me too.
Your Honor, this is cumulative. He's already gone through all this in his direct examination. And she asked him what was happening on May 22nd. And he's getting into what happened on May 21st. We've already been through this.
I believe that he's providing context for where they were on the 22nd, but if you could, Mr. Depp, please explain where you were on the 22nd of May in 2016.
As far as I can remember, on May 22nd, 2016, I was preparing to leave for New York for rehearsals and then a tour with the Hollywood Vampires. I was either preparing to leave or I had left.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 736, please? And
Yeah, I agree. Hot damn.
do you recall sending this text?
Four Ocean has been cleaning the ocean since 2017.
What happened? What just happened?
19 p.m.
Saying that the media has created such a fucking hateful storm.
Can we get to Ben? Okay, Ben.
Saying
We're almost to
the
Ben.
media has created such a fucking hateful storm that it's sickening. that we love each other. And that we want to make sure each other is okay. Have we had fights in the past? Have we had this or whatever? Fuck it, they already know all that shit. Here's the
I didn't restart. Their stream ended.
You have no idea. Every ounce of my credibility has been taken from. I mean, and done so in a dishonest way. You know.
Amber, the abuse thing is we've got to deal with that. Yeah. We've got to deal with that, Amber.
My credit is my credibility. You know what?
And why did you put that out there?
I did not. I don't force me. Your team forced me to by going on the offense.
I didn't force you to.
I promise. Look up the timeline. Everything. Forget it.
She's blaming him for the op-ed.
I did not choose this. You got every step of the way. And offense.
I did not put this anywhere. I didn't. Let me talk to the fucking team.
I did not call the cops. I mean, the
IO called the cops. You told IO to call the cops.
I did not call the cops, and I did not give them any statement when they came. I've been trying to protect you.
You told IO to call the cops.
When the wallet was happening?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, because the last time that got crazy between us, I really did think I was dealing with my life, and I thought you would do it on accident. And I told you that. I said, oh my god, I thought the first time.
Amber, I lost a fucking finger, man. Come on. I had a fucking mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can say that it was a fair fight, and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny, that I
Right.
And I know it's a fair fight. See how many people believe or decide
It doesn't matter if it's a fair fight. My ass.
Exactly, because you're.
Mr. Depp, when did you have the conversation reflected in this report?
They edited out PUSSY that she just called him.
I don't recall exactly when it was.
What's your best estimate?
My best estimate is that it was long before the
Yeah,
quite a while before
she does think she's Miss Goody Two Shoes.
July.
Kills me.
How far after May 21st, 2016 do you think that conversation was? I'm asking for his best estimate.
Allow it to be answered.
So if you ask it again, I was distracted.
How long after May 21st, 2016 do you believe that conversation took place?
I would say it was not too far, maybe a couple of months. It was far enough to where the world media was already bombarding me. So it was an attempt to try to make all the
Right.
What are you referring to when you said you and Miss Heard will write a letter together?
She's refusing to provide her pictures and certain other documents.
And what are you referring to when you say you lost a finger?
And he gave it all up.
very large bottle of vodka severing my index to my middle finger in Australia.
And what were you referring to when you said a can of mineral spirits was thrown at your nose?
One of the arguments on the island where Miss Heard had
He posted pictures of that earlier in the trial, by the way.
And she picked up a can of mineral spirits about yay big, and he did that.
Her face just irritates me.
On the bridge of the nose, and the right there, forehead.
Nope, he sure
What did you
didn't.
say in response when Miss Heard said, "Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. I, Johnny Depp, a man. I'm a victim too of domestic violence."
I said yes. I am.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
So you can have
Wow.
your attorney, please.
That part, y'all.
All right, your next witness.
Y'all hear that part?
King. Somebody gonna go get Mr. King. You can take it with you. Or just leave it there.
Uh-oh, Ben's coming, y'all. We see it for Ben. Y'all got to remember this too. He's not just any man reporting being abused in a marriage, and it's a stigmatism enough for men to report abuse. He's Johnny Depp reporting abuse. Think about that. Look at Ben. He's so lost. Bless his little soul.
Good afternoon, Mr. King.
Good afternoon.
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Ben King.
And Mr. King, can you briefly tell us where you're from?
London, Central London.
And can you tell us a little bit about your background? What's your occupation?
I know, right?
Personal assistant presently with an individual who also lives in Central London.
Can you lean into the microphone a little bit
Yeah,
more?
sure. Sorry, here we go.
No, did you say you're a house manager?
That's right, personal assistant, house manager.
And can you just tell those of us in the courtroom who aren't familiar, what does that mean?
I work presently for a gentleman who's in the entertainment industry. And I manage his property, a large apartment in Central London. Take care of the daily needs.
Kitchen tissues, I love it.
And travelling with him when needed and things like that.
And how long have you been in this occupation?
Ooh, since about 1991, I started in private services, if you like, in house management, in butlering, in that stuff.
Typically based around London?
Correct. I started work in London. It was my first big job at Buckingham Palace, funnily enough, for 4 years, and then I continued in different positions, full-time and self-employed, freelance capacity for many years as well.
Just generally, can you tell us, and without getting into any specifics, but what type of people would you say you did provide these services for?
Generally high net worth people, families.
I love Ben.
Are you familiar with the plaintiff in this case, Johnny Depp?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with Mr. Depp?
I met and worked for Mr. Depp in 2014, and subsequently a couple of times after that.
Okay. Can you briefly just explain to the jury how it came to be that you were working for Mr. Depp?
Sure. Yes.
Sure.
At that point, I was working in
Sure.
a self-employed capacity. A lot of my jobs came through friends of friends, personal recommendations, etc. And I was asked by a friend of a friend on this occasion would I be available to go and manage a property where Mr. Depp was going to be staying for about a month in Central London. Was I available? Would I be willing to do it? And I was available at that point, and so I said yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And just to make sure we're on the same page, what time frame are we talking about here?
That was August 2014.
I'm thinking Elton John or Paul Bettany's people.
I did, yes.
Help procure Ben.
No.
So who was your employer?
I was paid through a large hotel which was close by to the house, who also they provided the housekeeper who was working with us for that month as well. So I was paid through them.
Can you just generally explain to us?
Hello, sir.
Sure. Yeah, it was the setup of the house basically. Setting up the house initially, which meant ahead of the.
What you doing? Nene got her headphones on. What you want?
And just organising everything ahead of their arrival.
I want to go back,
the management of the property, the oversight of it, and the
I want to go with my pillow, but I want to go with my pillow.
Well, go with your pillow.
And when you refer to the principals, who are you referring to?
Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard.
Oh, you want your pillow in here?
Where exactly were you working?
Hold on a minute.
This was in Mayfair. It's a large townhouse in an old building.
There you go.
Contemporary inside, modern, furnished, very modern sort of way. Quite spacious.
You miss Nene?
A small indoor pool, small gym.
Nene missed you too.
Open plan layout throughout the house.
And how long were they there?
For the month, essentially, yeah.
You got 2 Thomas buddies? Okay.
Yeah, approximately depended on what was going on, but 7 or 8 in the morning.
2 Thomas blankets.
Oh, 2 Thomas blankets. Okay.
Russell's brilliant chef.
You had Nene all confused. It don't take much, you know.
Before I left in the evening, he would cook dinner. So
You know about it? Okay, good.
Fully cleaned up after dinner, so I could leave sort of early to mid-evening in those days. Unless we have guests.
Do you want another
Unless there
nugget?
are guests or other things going on.
Here.
Managing the house for Mr. Depp.
Take it. I'm good.
Do you have occasion to observe the interactions between Mr. Depp and Mr.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a little past. I'm going to put some food to
Most days, I would say.
Oh, yeah, it's sweet now.
And did you yourself interact with Mr. Depp and Mr.
Yes, also.
Okay, well, I'm.
Which of them would you say, or did you see one more often than the other?
Ms. Heard was there. Mr. Depp was the reason I think.
Well, he's laying down, so get out.
Stop messing.
So
If you start messing, you're going to your room. So, lay down.
The green whistle.
You don't.
How would you generally describe
You need to lay down.
the interactions that you observed between Mr. Depp and Mr.
Initially,
But
very
he's
sort of
already
loving
had
towards each
done
other.
everything.
Nice couple.
Okay.
Mr. Depp was always a gentleman and keen to make sure Mr. was taken
No,
care of.
Ben is not on a particular side.
Just nice, pleasant.
He basically
how about your own
ran the house staff,
I did very
and
well. Yeah,
I'm sure he was the one taking pictures and whatnot for the owner of the property as well. Sorry, little man came in.
To either of them, Ms. Heard especially, it was really helpful to get information about what time they wanted dinner, basic stuff like that, or anything. It was good interaction all the time with the both of them.
Now, you mentioned wine. Can you tell us, to what extent did you observe either of them consume alcohol over the course of these 4 weeks?
Sure. When I started that job, or when I taken that job on,
Listen, your mama said you gotta lay down.
That he was.
And I'm trying to find my phone. There we go.
Can you answer without telling what you were told?
I was made aware that Mr.
Yeah, because, yep.
Could you put your microphone?
Okay.
Same objection. He's explaining what he's been told and how he just said I was informed.
I don't think it's offered for the truth, Your Honor. I think it's just offered to explain his own behavior towards the couple.
No, it's can we approach?
Okay.
Thank you, Smiley. Jeremiah, leave stuff alone and lay down. They're going to cut the sound off because right now there's nothing to turn up.
Right, so Mr. King, moving past...
They mute it whenever they go up to talk to the judge.
Describe the alcohol consumption that you personally observed and what you personally witnessed.
Sure. I didn't see Mr. Depp consume any alcohol during that time in London. There was a large consignment of wine that had been delivered to the house at the start of the visit. In many cases that I had to store, I had to find a place to store.
Yeah, it's turned all the way up.
Generally speaking, on a day-to-day, about 1 or 2 bottles of red wine were consumed per day. I think that's fair to say.
Did you ever observe Mr. Depp drink any of the wine?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever observe Ms. Heard drink any of the wine?
Yes, I did.
Regularly?
Daily.
Oh, they didn't like that.
Now, I think you already testified that you observed interactions with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, and you generally found them to be friendly. Is that fair?
Very much, yes.
Were there any exceptions to that?
Towards me?
I'll rephrase. Did you ever observe any arguments between the two?
Yes, I did.
You can answer.
Oh, yes, I did, yeah.
Okay, and can you describe for us the arguments that you observed?
I can describe 2 of them, certainly. There were a few arguments on that during that month.
Let's just start with those 2.
Okay. The first one I remember was an evening. Actually, they were both the ones I recall were, and I was close to, were evenings. First particular evening, the couple were due to go out for dinner, I guess. I know the car was waiting in the...
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
There, ready for them to go.
Objection!
Waiting to take them. I was waiting to see them out into the car. I was at the foot of the...
I love this part.
Ground floor level to wait to see them out, essentially. And I heard, the first thing I heard was Miss Heard shouting upstairs in the master suite where they were getting ready to leave. I heard her shout something, I don't recall what, I was in the vicinity, I wasn't really there to listen. And I heard footsteps, loud footsteps.
Ben said, I tried to mind my damn business with these Americans.
Stairs that went around the master suite. Loud footsteps and then more footsteps following, more shouting. And that sort of went on for some time. I mean,
this would have never happened at the Queen's house.
For what time that was, but I knew they were supposed to have left already, and it went on for a bit.
Do you recall how that first fight or argument resolved?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I know that they left eventually, albeit late.
I can't tell y'all what happened at the Queen house, though.
Because I sort of made myself busy, but not going too far away from the
door
to make sure I saw them out.
He probably does need therapy.
Second one, I was pretty much in the same vicinity, the same room on the ground floor. Again,
you got your blankie.
TV room, I think it was off the main sitting room.
I got you.
And I was going about my early evening duties, replenishing drinks close by, lighting the fire, lighting candles, whatever it might have been.
Nene's baby back in the bed with Nene.
Miss Heard say, "Why did you take your hand away from me, Johnny?
I missed my bookie. I miss you.
Not in a playful way, I might add.
To go on no vacation without me again.
And I think he replied, "Of course I do." And he said, "Of course I do." And it kind of launched from that point. At one point, Mr. Depp got up and went to the bathroom and went upstairs, and I was sort of scuttling around out of the way because I wasn't there listening. I was just there doing my stuff.
Well, lay there and be quiet for a minute.
Yeah, it was strange.
Cuddle with Nene. That's my baby.
How would you describe Mrs. Heard's tone when she said, "Why did you take your hand away, Johnny?"
Accusatory, spoiled teenage child.
I know, right?
Maybe. Is that fair?
She always buttoned up to the neck in court, but
more angrily.
Outside of court, them buttons pop.
Over the course of the 4 weeks in August and September 2014, when you were working with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard in London,
yes.
Did you ever observe any physical violence of any kind between the two of them?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever observe any injuries on either one?
No, neither of them.
Okay.
Straight court
After those 4
wardrobe.
weeks, did you ever work for Mr. Depp or Ms. Hurd again?
I did, a couple of occasions. The following year was the first one, the following spring.
Oh, I know, Millie. I can't wait.
In Australia.
And was it unusual for you to be in Australia?
In Australia, maybe, but not unusual for me to travel for clients for my assignments to wherever it was needed.
How exactly did it come about that you were in Australia with Mr. Depp and Ms. Hurd?
Towards the end of the London visit, Mr. Depp had kindly said, thanks so much for looking after us. We'll like you. Maybe if you're free next year and we can arrange it, we can make it happen. Perhaps you'll be able to come to Australia with us for the film Pirates 5. So I said, great, I'd love to. Obviously, I was freelance at the time, so it was going to be about 4 months' work. I think it was billed as. So I thought, yes, I wouldn't mind some of that. Thank you very much.
And where in Australia were you staying?
Even Johnny had to laugh at that, y'all.
Brisbane was the main airport.
And she is dressed like a little Amish girl.
And do you recall when you arrived?
I arrived on February the 4th. I know I flew on that day.
Yeah, her face does
How did
give
your
her away.
job responsibilities in Australia compare to your job responsibilities in London?
Much the same, just on a bigger scale. The house was larger. There was a bit more set up to do, but essentially the same oversight of the house, responsible for it during the whole gig.
And were you employed by Mr. Depp or Ms. Hurd?
No.
Who were you employed by?
Essentially by Disney, the production company affiliated with Disney.
So he has no allegiance to either one.
And I think you said you arrived in Australia on February 4th, 2015. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Ben is an independent witness. Ben is a witness that really doesn't favor either one.
They arrived towards the end of February 2015.
And between your arrival and their arrival, what have you been doing?
Just setting up the house. I lived on site. There was a guest house on site, a 2-bedroom, single-story guest house that I stayed in for those first couple of weeks, setting up the house and just getting everything ready during that time. And then I moved out to apartments, which we all had. A lot of the crew, the chef had an apartment. We all had apartments about a 30-minute drive south of the house.
Okay. And so we're talking about this house in Australia. So can you...
Yes, he is a paid employee, but he wasn't paid by Johnny Depp or Amber or their people.
Land, a 3-story house, 5 bedrooms, with 2 or 3 buildings within the grounds as well. A good-sized house, beautiful location.
How many entrances would you say it had?
Entrances, many. Many certainly on the lower ground level out to the garden. On the first or on the main floor level, there was many entrances. Every room in that house had a balcony at least. Every room on the lower ground floor had a sliding door or a door out. The utility room, the garage, the gym, everything. Obviously the front door. Many. On the main level, large glass sliding doors out to the pool area, which had a gazebo and steps down to the ground.
Okay,
yeah,
so
that house is
to
huge.
stay at this house. Was anybody else staying in the house?
Staying in the house, no.
Was anybody else staying on the grounds?
On the property, yes. There was a couple there caretaking.
Yeah, I know. That staircase, though.
Sandra,
that marble, though.
The owner of the house, they lived on site essentially all the time. They were there pretty much throughout. And their house was, a couple of 100 yards away from the main house. And yes, security were there also.
All right, sticking with the caretaker just briefly. About how long would you estimate it would take to walk from the main house to the caretaker's house?
Okay, Chew did not look good right there.
No more than 5 minutes.
Okay. And then you mentioned security. What was the security setup?
Security was set up by Jerry Judge. They were employed, they stayed in the grounds for the duration. They didn't come into the house. They had a little sort of shack around by the perimeter wall where they would do their stuff around the grounds.
That gummit.
Write their reports and go back and stay in their shack.
And how many security guards would be on site at any particular time?
I think one in the day and one in the night, so they did 12 hours about, as I remember it.
But it was 24/7?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Do you know whether those were local employees or were they regularly employed?
I believe they were Australian, yes.
Okay. Now, I think you said you were not on the property 24/7, right? You had an apartment elsewhere?
Correct, yeah. I kept the same hours as I did in London, essentially. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, not quite, but 7, 8 a.m. till evening, till everything was set up and I could leave.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity when you were in Australia to observe Mr. Depp and Ms. Hurd's interactions with each other?
Yes, of course.
Did he just call her Miss Hurd?
Initially very good, like in London. It seemed very pleasant towards each other.
Did you observe any arguments?
Yes, I had several.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes.
Spill the tea.
Similar pattern, it seemed, to London arguments. One in particular was very similar to the second one in London. Started in the TV room, funnily enough. Loud loud voices, and Mr. Depp leaving the room, shutting the door, going to another room to play his guitar or to a bathroom, whatever, and Miss Heard closely following and opening up the door.
He even said she followed him to the toilet just now, y'all.
Give us an estimate about how many arguments you think you observed in this time frame, approximately.
Several. I mean, we were there for several months, so certainly many more than in London.
Did you observe any alcohol consumption in Australia by either of them?
Yes, again, Miss Heard. I was again part of my responsibility.
No man done went to sleep, y'all.
Everything's set up for
He
that,
had to come
so
lay next to his
I
knee
arranged
though.
red wine for Miss Heard, which she consumed. Same amount as in London, I think.
And what amount is
Generally
that?
speaking, 1 or 2 bottles a day.
Did you ever observe Mr. Depp with Miss Heard?
No.
Several objections.
Sorry.
Yeah, could you put your record there? Go.
Leading, objection leading.
I'll sustain this leading.
We can move on.
No question.
Do you remember anything about Friday, March 6th, 2015?
It was essentially a normal Friday, if you like. End of the week. Yay.
He said, "Yay!" End of the week.
Did you come into work that day?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. Do you recall about what time you would have left the house on that date?
I remember taking a photo of a beautiful sunset over the pool, sunset over the pool and the creek. I took a photo of that around early evening, so 6:37. I would think I wouldn't have left much later than that.
Was Mr. Depp there when you left?
I don't think so. I think Mr. Depp was at the studio still on that day. I can't remember sort of seeing him to say goodbye. Have a good weekend.
How about Miss Heard? Do you recall if she was there when you left?
Yeah, she was.
Did anything
She was always there, her and her friends.
Yeah, I would say something pretty
Her
unusual.
posse.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can.
Foundation.
All right, foundation. You want to lay foundation?
At some point, did you become aware that something had happened?
Yes.
Mr. Depp and Miss Heard?
A couple years
All right. I'll sustain that objection.
All right, turning to the following Sunday.
Ms. Williams, how much more do you have? It's time for our afternoon break.
I think we can. I have a little bit more, Your Honor, so I think maybe this would be a good time for a
All
break.
right, let's go ahead and take our afternoon 15-minute break, ladies and gentlemen. Again,
We're going to fast forward through that because I want to hear him say petulant child. Should be close right here, I think. Right, yeah, I can. He's so proper, I know. Oh, I missed it, Miss Millie, damn it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah, Miss
Before we went
Justice.
on break, we were discussing
There's a whole litany
Friday,
of
March 6th, 2015.
musicians and actors
after
slated to testify as well.
that evening. When did
This
you
is just getting going.
Miss Heard?
I'm surprised to see Johnny Depp testifying so early on.
At the house.
What were your typical hours?
Monday to Friday from 7 or 8 a.m. till the end of play each evening, early evening usually.
Why were you at the house that Sunday?
I was called to the house by one of Mr. Depp's assistants.
And about what time did you arrive at the house?
Around 2 o'clock, 2:30.
Who was there when you arrived?
Debbie Lloyd was there. David Kipper was there. Amber Heard was there. Jerry Judge was there.
And I think by now probably everybody's
Oh,
familiar.
this
Can you
is the
just
part.
quickly say who those people are?
Sure. Debbie Lloyd was a nurse. David Kipper was Dr. David Kipper. Miss Heard was Miss Heard, and Jerry Judge was head of security.
And when you arrived at the house on Sunday, March 8th, 2015, what did you do?
I just parked up and went into the house.
And did you observe anything when you went into the house?
Yeah, I mean, initially I walked into the front door. Initially I heard, rather than saw anything, I could hear pretty hysterical sobbing, crying, which sounded like Miss Heard to me. I heard Jerry Judge's voice. There's a few steps as you go up into the house, so you can't immediately see what's going on. But so I went up the steps. I could see then Miss Heard over on the right-hand side, over towards the TV room with Jerry Judge. David Kipper was in the kitchen area, which was pretty much directly ahead as you walk up those steps.
And were you able to visually see Miss Heard?
Yes,
And you were able to hear her as well?
absolutely.
How would you describe her demeanor?
Hysterical, probably the best way to describe it. Crying a lot and, just crying uncontrollably. I think it's fair to say.
And how would you describe Jerry Judge's demeanor when he was speaking with her?
He was just keeping her calm, saying, "It's all right, love. It will be all right." Jerry was good, like a big heart. Jerry, he's a good guy. he was calm. Jerry was always calm. Oh, mostly.
And what did you do next?
I saw they were engaged across away there, so I went into the main kitchen area, which, as I said, was just directly ahead of those main steps, and spoke to David Kipper.
And following that conversation, what did you do?
Well, he told me that Mr. Depp had...
Objection to your second.
All right.
Your Honor, it's, well, maybe approach.
Okay.
Here they go again. So this is a good time for me to say, hit that thumbs up button. Do all the YouTube things. Like, subscribe. And please hit that PayPal and Cash App. I have to go to a funeral and a procedure. And right now I'm having to pay a ride. So anything would be grateful. Yes, they do go through rigorous training background checks before the agencies will even employ them. Absolutely.
So you can answer the question.
They sure do.
So I spoke to David Kipper, who was in the kitchen area, seemingly rummaging through a bin. He said that Mr. Depp had sustained an injury to his finger, one of his fingers, and he was looking for the fingertip that it said it had been severed. So I said, well, shall I help you? You know, as one would. And he said, yeah, that would be a good idea. I left him in the kitchen. He said there was a lot more damage downstairs. So I went to, we split up. Left him in the kitchen. I went downstairs to search.
At some point, was Mr. Depp's fingertip found?
Yes.
Oh my God. Ugh.
I did.
And where did you find it?
I know, right,
Downstairs
Millie?
in the bar area.
This part killed me.
Bar area.
So, can you...
He found the tip of his finger, y'all.
Yes,
Ben was the finger finder.
There was a bit of damage down the steps. That big chunk had been taken out of the marble staircase. On my way down, remnants of what looked like a plant pot or something around it smashed. Walking down into the bar, I could see the damage that Dr. Kipper had told me about. A broken ping pong table sort of collapsed onto the floor, and lots of broken glass and cans strewn around the bar area.
And where exactly was the finger in the bar area?
Directly below the bar. Bar was set up like a conventional bar that stuck out from a wall, and with a marble top. There's a big chunk out of that as well, like on the staircase. Directly at the end of the bar, there was a scrunched up piece of kitchen paper, if you like, tissue, with lots of blood around it, on it. So I thought that's probably a pretty good place to look. And it was within that.
I know, right.
On the tiled floor at the end of the bar.
Look at his face when he's talking about this, y'all. He had to clean all this up, too, by the way.
Damage around the finger?
Yes, a fair bit. On the floor around the area, the puddles of what smelled like alcohol to me. There were, seemed like several drinking glasses, a couple of bottles. One was a Stolichnaya vodka bottle. And at the end of the bar, as I said, there was a big chunk out of the bar itself, the bar, marble top.
Oh, yeah, but where is it? Because Ben sure would have told about it.
Right at the end.
Promise.
On the wall. Behind the bar, it was smashed and cracked. There's a blue mirror that stretched that whole span of behind the bar. Lots of cans again behind the bar on the floor. Broken window at the end of the bar. And more plastered work damage on the wall above the sink. There's sort of a kitchenette bar, if you like, as well.
You mentioned a bottle of vodka. Was the vodka bottle intact?
No. No, nothing was really intact. The top of it.
No, nothing was really intact.
The bottle was like, it had a label on it, which is how I knew it was a Stolichnaya bottle.
I just need to get $33 more.
Sort of yellow.
Anybody that's hearing me.
There was a large chunk of the bottle, which I guess was the rest of that, and lots of other broken glass around the area.
To be able to pay the ride for both
After you found
trips.
the fingertip in the bar area, what did you do next?
Well, I gathered it up in that kitchen paper and sort of took it upstairs. I might have shouted up to David Kipper I found it. I'm not sure, but I walked back upstairs.
That's right. Ben said there was.
Got a bag.
She apparently has the eggplant picture that was painted. But Ben practically says there was not one. And he described everything, including the coffee mug embedded in the TV.
It was about an hour after I got there, so it would have been around 3:30, I would think. 3:20, 3:30.
I just love hearing Ben's voice, y'all. Don't y'all? Can y'all just sit here and listen to him talk forever?
You told us a little bit about the state the house was in when you arrived.
Yes.
Can you generally describe for us, and maybe go level by level through the house, what damage you observed?
Sure. Do you want me to start at the lower ground floor in that bar area? I mean, I've described a lot of that.
Sure, that's fine.
It was pretty extensive down there, all that broken glass, blood. There were a lot of blood drips across that floor. It was a kind of cream-coloured tiled floor. in that whole games area. As I said, the ping pong table was...
Yes, a part of the mug was embedded in the TV screen.
Around the bar. And the damage on the walls, as I said, the plaster work at the end of the bar, behind the bar, and the chunk out of the marble top. So on the ground, that was the predominant damage.
On the marble top,
on that level.
he said.
On the next floor, on the main floor where David Kipper was. In the kitchen itself, again, a few broken glasses and cans on the floor, soda cans behind the kitchen island, the chef's kitchen island, liquid little puddles. There was a sitting room with a couch on a cream-coloured couch, which had a fair amount of blood drips on the cushions, and that was obvious. The TV, which was directly in front of that wall-mounted TV, was cracked with, it seemed like remnants of a coffee cup embedded in some of it, and the rest was below, looked like coffee splattered behind and underneath the TV, and on the floor as well. Through there, we'd set up an art studio, so a lot of the art materials from that, paintbrushes, paint, various art materials were on the floor. A lot of paint on the floor.
That's where the paint that Johnny Depp painted the mirrors came from.
Wooden parquet floor. There was a lot of oil paint and blood drips.
That's where the oil paint,
up to the staircase.
and that's why it's mingled with the blood.
Off of the main kitchen area, one of those bedrooms had blood drips on the duvet, and a lamp had seemingly been broken. The shade was removed. There were a couple of lampshades in the art studio area.
Apparently, and he was hanging it downward, I'm thinking, while he was walking.
The damage going upstairs to the next level, there was a few blood smears on the wall and on the strips of the stairs going up. Again, a cream-coloured carpet, which is not ideal. And so that's the top floor was the master suite floor, and 2 bedrooms also up there. Outside the master bedroom, there was damage to the plaster work on a pillar outside.
Notice he never talks about a painting.
Master bedroom floor. Going into the master bathroom, there was a his and her sink and a large mirror above each of the sinks that had writing on each of them. Again, one of the bedrooms, or both of the bedrooms.
Yeah, he was not happy with either of them, I don't think.
And another lamp was broken. Mr. Depp's guitar was in one of those bedrooms, the bloodstained guitar. His iPad was standing up on one of the beds in one of those bedrooms. That's about the extent of it.
That's the damage
on each level, yeah.
Whose job was it to clean all that up?
That was mine. That was mine.
It was his job to clean it all up, you heard?
My responsibility.
So you were familiar with the damage?
Of course Ben's familiar.
As I walked around and saw it all, yes.
Did you observe any damaged phones?
No.
That's right, Amber. We want your text. We want your phone. We want your pictures.
Maybe the next one.
Was there any artwork in this house? Decorating the house?
He does.
Art in the house, yes. Mr. Depp and Mr. had done some artwork.
13 hours. I guarantee you he wasn't cleaning by himself.
That came with the house, if you like.
Focusing just on the artwork that came with the house.
Listen, to here, right here.
No, nothing that I needed to repair or replace. Certainly.
No damaged artwork. What? Where's the eggplant?
Just a lot of blood and a lot of repairs. The floor, as I said, was quite heavily.
He's supposed to have painted an eggplant, P-E-N-I-S, on
yes,
on a framed artwork.
No other damage. Does any other damage come to mind?
No.
Can we take a look at defendants' exhibit?
Y'all think Ben
which I believe is already in evidence?
wouldn't have told us about a picture that had to be replaced? Y'all better think again. How many times he tells about that chunk of marble and the floors? Come on now, we know Ben telling it.
That's on the screen in front of you?
Yes, that's one of the mirrors I was telling you about in the master bathroom.
Poor Ben, y'all. Look at this
Were you
shit.
involved in cleaning any of this up?
I cleaned both of those mirrors at some point that evening, that night. Yes.
Were you able to tell what was used, or what substance what sort of the ink is that's used on the black line there?
That was the same oil paint that was on the floor on the parquet floor downstairs.
Told y'all.
Various other places. It was the same oil paint.
All right. How about the
Came from the art room.
Call Carly Simon. She said it better, babe. Were you able to tell what was used?
Told them leave Carly Simon alone.
He testified that he was cleaning it up.
It certainly seemed like lipstick to me, red lipstick. It was quite waxy. I remember taking that off.
Was quite waxy.
Okay, we can take that down.
Ben said, I'm not leaving the Queen's Castle no more.
On that Sunday.
I'm not ready for this.
It actually went into the early hours of Monday morning, so at least I got there around 2 in the afternoon of Sunday. I don't think I left there until 2 or 3 o'clock the next morning of the 9th.
Over the course of the time that you were there that day, did you have any interactions with Miss Heard?
Yes, I certainly did.
Can you describe those for us, please?
Yes, not too much initially. She was very, as I said, quite hysterical and crying a lot, and Jerry Judge was taking care of her, keeping her calm. Later in the evening, it was suggested that Miss Heard go to a local hotel, to leave the house, go to a local hotel, which then became a suggestion that she go back to LA. And that's, I think, when I started interacting, in terms of, at some point I volunteered to travel with her to LA.
Poor Ben, y'all. He had to ride to
Miss Heard
LA with her.
To the suggestion that she leave for Los Angeles.
She was resistant to both of those suggestions, very resistant. She really didn't want to go and said, I can't leave. You know, it'll be the end if I leave.
In other words, he don't want shit else to do with your ass if you leave, but she could talk him into staying.
There's negotiations, if you like, and eventually Miss Heard agreed that I would fly with her.
And did you, in fact, fly with her?
I did, on Monday the 9th.
Okay. Sticking with Sunday, when you were interacting with her on that Sunday, how close were you to her?
Very close, like very close, in front of her.
And do you recall observing any injuries on this?
Oh, he was in front of her.
Whatsoever.
Did you notice anything unusual about her physically at all?
No, I mean, she was obviously crying a lot, she had red eyes, but no, otherwise no.
Well, where was her bruises and scratches and shit?
That Monday, March 9th, I guess it would be, 2015.
Right, so, I mean, it was eventually agreed that I would fly with Miss Heard, so I had to at some point go back to...
Because she a liar.
To pick up my passport, which, funnily enough, I hadn't brought with me, and some clothes, a bag to take. So I think I left the house early hours, as I said, 2, 3, may have been a bit later, a.m. I drove back to my apartment, which was 30 minutes drive south, picked up those things. I mean, I didn't know how long I was going to go for, but...
He didn't know what he was in for. That's what he started to say.
And I drove back up to the house. I don't recall exactly what time I arrived there, but I know we had to leave. All the arrangements were being made by the travel agent, and Jerry Judge was liaising with them to make the flight arrangements, which I believe was going mid to late morning. So I think we had to leave the house around 7 or 8 a.m. that morning.
I wonder if Ben should have told her she's acting like a petulant brat.
How would you describe her demeanor?
To her face.
Calmed down a fair bit. She was mostly on the phone, to be honest, for pretty much the whole of that car journey. To various people, one of which I believe was Mr. Depp.
Do you recall her saying anything on the ride to the airport about what had happened the night prior?
Nothing really mentioned in that as way of an explanation, no.
What happened when you got to the airport, if anything?
We were running a bit late, but I remember that. Luckily, we were travelling first class, so the driver knew to pull up to a kind of VIP, for want of a better word, VIP check-in point. And so the car got pretty close to where the desk was. Miss Heard was still on the phone, and so we sat there for a bit with the driver, and Miss Heard was talking, I don't know who to at that point. And I was thinking, we need to make this flight.
His face! Oh my God.
So I decided to go in, maybe I can go in and check in our bags ahead, and then come back and get Miss Heard. She should be finished by then, which is what I did.
Ben's face is priceless.
Eventually we did. It was a close call, to be honest.
Once you were on the plane, did you have any conversations with Miss Heard?
Yes, I mean, not initially, which took some time in the bathroom. She was on the phone again to the point where the cabin crew had to sort of tap on the door and say, we need to leave now, everybody needs to sit down. And she did that, after 10 or 15 minutes in there. And so
Ben's
face!
We
first class, which was lovely. She was in the window seat, like I think it was 1A, 1B window seat. I had the aisle seat. And finally, we could both sit down and in way of conversation, wasn't a great deal, to be honest. I did sort of say finally, so what happened? Obviously referring to the house. And I mean, she didn't give much explanation, if any. She did say, Ben, have you ever been so angry with someone you've just lost it with them? And I sort of said, no.
Yo.
But she did repeat it. She looked pretty incredulous that I hadn't. She repeated it.
Oh.
With somebody got so angry with someone, you've just lost it with them. And I said, unless you count the sort of time when I was 14 years old and I hit the light switch in my bedroom because I wasn't allowed out that night or something. With a person, no, never. And that was pretty much the end of the conversation. She dropped it then.
Oh, Ben.
When she asked those questions of you?
To me, incredulous, would be fair to say. Surprised that I hadn't lost it with somebody.
Does anything else stand out about that flight?
It was fairly calm. After that, it was calm, but I mean, we were both exhausted. I certainly was, and I can't remember eating.
He certainly was.
The flight.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
We landed. We were close to landing.
At any point, did you observe anything about Miss Heard physically on that flight?
Yes, I did. Just before we landed, I noticed some marks on her arm, her left forearm.
How would you describe this?
Long, kind of uniform, evenly spaced, sort of long, thin marks. Very uniform, in fact.
And when did you first notice those?
On the plane towards coming into landing, gathering the stuff up, I noticed them then.
What did you do after you landed in Los Angeles?
Once I'd fired up my phone on landing, I saw the arrangements that we would be picked up
But
by security personnel.
Is he saying that she did those in the bathroom?
So I made contact with him, and he met us in the base.
Is that what y'all were getting from his testimony?
Arrivals lounge. We met him at the end of that. Got in the car with him and drove to the Eastern Columbia building.
And how would you describe Miss Heard's demeanor in Los Angeles?
Yeah, pretty calm. I mean, she seemed, obviously a lot calmer from the house, but she's pleasant towards Travis. Certainly in the car, obviously they knew each other. When we got to the building, she was kind enough to show me around the apartment. I'd never been before. She showed me around the
I mean, it just kind of sounds right, self-inflicted.
Because she knew I'd be staying a few days, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
So she recommended a few restaurants.
But did she do that to blame on him?
I left.
Not Ben, but Johnny.
As usual, as I always did. Need anything, give me a shout. I would be staying fairly close by.
Because she got scared because of what had happened and his finger getting cut off and shit?
Less than a week. I think I flew back to Australia on the 14th or 15th. So about 5 days, 6 days tops.
That's crazy.
Australia, what were you doing?
No, with everything I've seen in this case, you guys, I wouldn't doubt it.
Repairing all the damage with the help of professional contracted vendors I brought in. And
She spent a lot of money.
As it was originally.
At some point, did Mr. Depp and Miss Heard...
None of her pictures have a date because she only gave them out of a photo editing app that you can use for iPhone. They're not the original ones. The metadata is not going to tell anything.
Again, initially, those first few days were certainly very pleasant, almost honeymoon-like, I would say. It strolled around the grounds a bit, and they seemed fine with each other.
Just like checking somebody's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. It's only going to give you metadata about the uploading and editing on there. It's not going to tell you.
Those, the sort of provocation and the reaction that leaving a room, Mr. Depp leaving a room, going to another room, playing his guitar.
Listen, you can freeze ice on her ass. She's so cold.
2 times in London.
Nothing further.
Right, Melissa. She riding the broom.
Good afternoon. So, to understand your testimony, is it your testimony that Amber and Mr. Depp arrived together in Australia in February of 2015?
Initially, together I don't think so. I think Mr. Depp arrived ahead of Ms. Heard, actually.
Mr. Depp arrived first, correct?
I think so, yeah.
And isn't it true that Ms. Heard, Amber didn't arrive until March 5th, 2015 to Australia?
I can't remember the date she arrived, to be honest.
She could have arrived March 5th, 2015. Is that true?
Objection, foundation, speculation.
I'll allow it if you answer.
Sorry, what was the question?
Ms. Heard could have arrived on March 5th, 2015, correct?
It's possible, I suppose.
And isn't it true then that you didn't see any arguments between Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp before the injury that occurred to Mr. Depp's finger in Australia?
I saw them argue.
You saw them argue when they came back? When they came back in April, correct?
I certainly saw them argue in April and through most of the months they were there.
But you don't remember, you can't recall any
Yeah.
arguments in February or March of 2015.
They're so rude and mean. Yeah.
Specific days, not necessarily, no.
Right, so you don't know, you can't say that there were any arguments before you came to the house on March 8th, 2015, correct?
I think there were, I mean...
Excuse me, say that again?
I think there were.
But you don't even know when she arrived, correct?
Specifically, the day, not necessarily, no.
And you said when you arrived at the house on March 8th, when you eventually found the finger, it was wrapped in paper, is that right?
Wrapped, I mean, it was loosely wrapped. The paper was opened by that point. The blood had dried up, and it was sitting in the sort of nest of this paper, yes.
So like someone had put the finger in a piece of paper?
I don't know. I mean, it was in that piece of paper.
It was in a piece of paper, okay. So, but again, like someone had wrapped it up, is that right?
I don't know. It was within that scrunched up piece of paper, kitchen paper, tissue.
It was in kitchen paper, is that right?
Well, tissue paper. It was white with a lot of blood on it.
So like a paper towel?
Like a piece of kitchen towel.
When you say kitchen towel, our language is made, even though we both speak English, I may say a little different. Like a paper towel?
Yeah, like kitchen paper, kitchen towel. Yes,
okay.
Like a tissue.
And was there that sort of paper towel in the kitchen?
Lord help him.
Yes, in both areas, the kitchen and the...
Yeah, they're not going to bother him and that. He's dealt with the brattiest of the brattiest. Come on now.
Australia starting correct?
Correct. I arrived on the 4th of February.
And Mr. Depp arrived sometime after that, is that right?
Correct.
Did you see Marilyn Manson while you were there?
No, I didn't.
You don't know if Mr.
They just love to bring up Marilyn Manson's name like he is just death incarnate or something.
He said he saw him every day, so I was asking if he saw.
I'll have a question. You can answer it.
Marilyn Manson didn't come to the house. I didn't see him at any point.
Do you know if Mr. Depp left to be with Marilyn Manson?
I don't know. I didn't always know where he was going. If he went out, it was either to work or security would go with. I wouldn't generally go. In fact, I don't think I went out with him at all in Australia.
Right, it ain't his business. That's what he's saying.
I don't recall it. I saw him on set once or twice. Yeah.
So you don't know what Mr. Depp was doing in Australia, unless you saw him at the house or on set. Is that right?
I saw him at the house. Yes, every day.
But you don't know what Mr. Depp was doing when he left the house, correct?
Generally going to work on Pirates of the Caribbean 5 filming. Yes.
But were you with him?
No, but the security with him. I had to liaise with him for when he would go and when he would come back for the driver, etc.
But you weren't there. You weren't there when Mr. Depp left the house, correct?
Generally, I didn't leave the house with Mr. Depp on those days. No.
And I just want to make sure. I want to be clear. There were two kind of periods that Mr. Depp was in Australia in 2015, right?
Sorry.
Mr. Depp was in Australia from sometime in February 2015 until about March 8th, March 9th, when he injured his finger. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then Mr. Depp left Australia too, correct?
At some point, he flew to LA. Yes.
And then Mr. Depp returned to Australia on April 21st, right?
Okay, that sounds about that time. I don't know the specific date. I don't recall.
And the filming of Pirates of the Caribbean 5 continues.
Then say, quit trying to make me tell y'all something that I ain't trying to say. I'm tired of your ish.
Which objection? That the filming of Pirates of the Caribbean 5 continued filming on April 21st, 2015.
I wasn't involved in the filming schedule. I didn't know when it resumed, to be honest. I knew Mr. Depp come back to resume filming, for sure.
You didn't live with Mr. Depp in his house in Australia, correct?
Live with? No, I wasn't resident there.
But it was his job to know what was going
You saw a
on.
significant amount of damage, correct?
Yes, through the course of, after I arrived, yeah.
Okay. And the scene was chaos, correct?
Chaos, I mean, there was a fair amount of damage.
The house was wrecked,
There was a lot of damage in the house, yes.
and the house was not in a good state, correct?
There was a lot of damage throughout the house.
Object first.
Ain't he said the same thing 4 times? Why you keep asking him the same damn question?
And you said there was glass on the floor, correct?
In a few areas, mainly predominantly in the bar, yes. Down in the lower ground floor, correct.
Okay, and there was blood on the walls, correct?
In various places, blood on the floor, blood on the walls.
And there was blood on the walls throughout the 3 stories of the house, isn't that right?
No, I wouldn't say that was the extent of it. There were smears up the staircase going up to the master from the main level. There were smears and drips on the carpet.
So there were smears from the master level up to the
Welcome back,
area?
Sassy.
I mean, from the main level up to the bedroom area, is that right?
Up to the 3rd floor, yes.
Like someone had walked from the main floor up to the bedroom floor, correct?
There was blood going up the stairs, up the steps, up on the staircase, and some on the walls, smears where you might have done.
As if someone was walking from the main level up to the master bedroom, correct? Is that what the blood was like?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Or down. I mean,
Up or down,
blood
but
on
the
that
main
Ben said he ain't no CSI. Asked him about the marble and the floors. He can tell you about that.
One sofa in that sitting room, which was just off the kitchen, was quite an open plan thing, so off that there was a sofa with a large TV on a wall-mounted TV in front of that sofa.
And the sofa was on the main level, correct?
Correct, just by the main kitchen.
with
Blood.
Blood, okay. And lights were damaged?
Some lamps, a couple of lamps, yes.
And there were bottles of alcohol in and out of the fridge, correct?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Did you see bottles of alcohol in and out of the fridge?
Yes, I mean, there was, I don't completely understand what you mean. There was alcohol bottle, yes. In the fridge. So, I mean, there would have been a bottle of wine.
Means like they some shit that was in the fridge and they some shit that was out the fridge and it, both of it had alcohol in it, okay?
The bar area and the staircase.
That's how it's supposed to be.
The main floor area and the wooden parquet floor, correct.
And the floors were going to have to be sanded, correct?
I eventually got them sanded, yes.
And it took, you were there, I think you testified it took you about 12 to 13 hours in the house cleaning up, correct?
Correct.
And you said that there was, is it your testimony that you didn't see any
Right, Millie.
The existing paintings from the owners from the house, no, none of them were damaged.
You didn't see any paintings?
Boom! Boom!
I did not, and thankfully that was something I didn't have to replace.
Do you know if anyone else saw?
Can I say that again? Boom! He just said none of the paintings were damaged. None of them had to be fixed nor replaced.
Objection, speculation.
I mean, I would have seen it.
We don't do this objection.
He said he would have seen it.
All right, if you stand, we can see you better. We do that. Okay, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
And you said that Jerry Judge was at the house, correct?
Correct.
And he's the head of Mr. Depp's security, correct?
Correct.
And Dr. Kipper was at the house?
Yes, he was.
And Debbie Lloyd was at the house as well, correct?
Yes, she was.
Okay. Now, you understood that Mr. Judge saw scratches on Ms. Hurd on March 8th, correct?
Objection, hearsay, speculation, foundation.
I'll sustain the objection.
Did you have, the cleaning lady was going to be coming to the house, correct?
The housekeeper?
Yes, the housekeeper.
The resident housekeeper. Yes, she was going to be. I mean, yes, she was employed through the week again. She wasn't there on weekends.
There was concern about the cleaning lady coming to the house and seeing everything that was in the house, correct?
Objection, speculation, foundation, that they.
I'll allow you to answer. You can answer.
Thank you. Concern. Sorry.
There was concern about the cleaning lady coming to the house and seeing all the damage that had been done, correct?
I know that when I left to fly to LA with Miss Heard, I told both the chef and the housekeeper they didn't need to be coming to the house because Miss Heard, essentially the principals weren't there. Mr. Depp wasn't there. Miss Heard was obviously with me at that point, so I said they didn't need to come to the house.
Isn't it true that you told Mr. Judge that you thought you could get the cleaning lady to swear to silence about what the house looked like?
Objection, hearsay.
It's his own statement.
He's on stage. I'll allow it.
Isn't it true that you told Mr. Judge that thought you could get the cleaning lady to swear to silence about what the house looked like?
I think I probably made a comment about, I should just come back and deal with this myself, if that's what you mean, and just get cleaned up.
And make sure that she wouldn't say anything, correct?
I don't know, I trusted her and the chef anyway. They were good team members.
As a house manager, part of your job...
Good night, Cherokee girl.
With, high-profile people, correct?
High profile, high net worth, I think is what I actually said.
Would you agree that...
Yes, he said high net worth. Get it right.
Of course, it's part of my job. Trust and discretion.
And Mr. Depp was your client, right?
I've worked on assignment on those occasions, yes, but I was self-employed at the time. Yeah.
But in March 8th, 2015 in Australia...
Mr. Depp didn't pay him, he said.
And Miss Heard, both of them the principals.
Who paid? And you know how...
Yeah, ask who paid.
For your services?
As I said before, I was paid through Disney, who were making the Pirates of the Caribbean, their production company, which I believe was called Herschel.
And can we
There you go. Thank you.
Which is already in evidence.
The company that fired Johnny Depp is who paid him. Get that right. The company that fired Johnny Depp is who paid him. I'm just saying. Take that how y'all will.
I do, yes.
And do you recognize this as a lampshade that was in the house in Australia on March 8th, 2015?
Yes, it was, I believe, one of the lampshades that was missing from one of the lamps.
Okay. And did you see this painting on the lampshade?
I did, yeah. It was part of my walk around to see
and what floor was the lampshade on?
This was on where the art studio was.
Johnny Depp said he thought it was good advice and still is to this day.
And was
Good luck and be careful at the top.
Dark paint that was on the lampshade?
Certainly looked like it, yes.
Did you take this picture?
I believe I did. Yeah, without seeing the metadata.
And can we put up the Defendant's Exhibit 374, please?
He's like, where's it at? Come on with it.
Defendant's Exhibit 374 as a mirror that was in the house in Australia on March 8th, 2015, correct?
Yes, I do.
And this...
Oh, let me point something out. These bathroom mirrors, there's supposed to be a sequence of pictures that were taken all in a row. You can see in certain ones of them, it's a mirror, you can see stuff in it. You can see the curl of the shower cord is different in part of. Now, they're supposed to be taken, snapped, like in less than 2 minutes, like 20 snapshots. Why would you take the time to move stuff? Just saying.
Correct. There were 2 mirrors in the bathroom above each sink.
And this was on the top floor, correct?
The master bathroom.
The master bathroom. And the master bathroom, just so I'm clear, was on the top floor.
Top floor, correct.
And this painting said starring Billy Bob. Is that right? Is that what you recall?
Yeah, I don't know. I was writing.
And was this in the writing? Was it?
It's like they wrote on it, man. I don't know what they was trying to write. Okay.
The oil paint that was used on the other mirror that we saw earlier.
They wrote on it with the oil paint. And I had to clean that shit. That's what being said.
Possible. I haven't seen the metadata, but yes, probably.
And let's put back up Defendant's Exhibit 375.
And it's like, what? Why are you so mean?
This writing was also in the master bathroom, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And could you tell if the black paint was on top of the red or under the red?
I didn't really analyze it, to be honest. I just knew I was going to have to clean it up at some point.
Right, your whole concern.
That part, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
Correct.
What's up, September?
What on the mirror, correct?
No, I know that one was oil painting and the other red writing was lipstick.
And lipstick, you're not even sure of that. You just saw it was something sticky. Is that right?
I'm pretty sure it's waxy, like lipstick-like, same as the oil paint was.
I'm pretty sure Mr. Ben's cleaned his chair lipstick up, y'all.
Any writing, any blood?
Writing, no, not necessarily.
No? Okay. Now, did you have, when Miss Heard was leaving to go back to LA, you were with her, correct?
Correct.
Did you help her pack?
I think I may have done at that point, yes, I think I did.
Right, exactly, Millie. He's like, I know it's lipstick. I cleaned the shit.
I could see, not so much. Yeah, not that point of packing. I mean,
There was paint in the tub, correct?
say again, sorry.
There was paint in the tub in the bathroom, correct?
I don't recall that.
You don't recall one way or the other?
I don't recall being paint in the tub.
And it's your testimony that there was no paint or blood on Miss Hurd's clothes, is that what you're saying?
I don't.
Now, you said you were in charge of the cleanup, correct?
Yes, it was my responsibility.
Um,
The house was.
And you were working with...
Yeah, trying to trick him.
With Mr. Judge and cleaning up the house, is that right?
On the night that the day that I arrived there,
Yes.
Mr. Judge did help me at some point. Yes, sweeping up glass, etc.
And was there photos taken of more than the three pictures you've been shown?
Photos.
Photos of the house?
By whom?
Did you take any pictures of the house?
I took a few, yeah. I mean, yes.
And did you take pictures other than the three that we saw?
I think I probably did as I was going around.
Do you know who you gave those pictures to?
No.
Do you know what you took the photos with?
My phone.
And who would you have sent those photos to?
And send them to anybody at that point.
You just kept them?
Yes.
Did you show the photos to anyone?
No.
Do you still have the photos?
Yes.
Were they on your phone still?
They're on one of my devices, yes.
Okay. Did you take a photo of the vodka bottle that you said was broken?
Yes.
And you have that photo?
Yes.
Okay, and you didn't give that to anybody?
There are a fair few photos. I can show it to you now if you want.
How many photos did you have on your phone?
I don't remember the number, but probably more than 10.
Did anyone ever ask you for the photos?
Several of them, yes. Yes.
Did you give them,
Ah.
to the people who asked?
Some of them, yes.
Not all of them?
I don't recall how many.
Who asked you for the photos?
I was involved in a case in London.
Yeah, where are her pics? He needed to take pictures so he didn't be responsible and liable for the damage, and he's supposed to keep it confidential.
Did you give a photo of the vodka bottle to the people you were working with in London?
I don't recall which photos I sent.
So did you take photos of the walls?
The walls, certainly the smears of the blood and the damage, the plaster damaged, yes.
You took photos of the walls with blood on it, is that right?
Yes.
And you took photos of the plaster, right, that was damaged?
At the end of the bar, in the bar, behind the bar, by the sink, yes.
And did you take photos of the ping pong table that you said was broken?
Yes, it's part of the bar area, I'm
Did
sure.
you take photos of, there was a glass table that was broken too, correct?
The glass table, I don't recall the glass table.
Okay. Did you take photos of all the damage that was around the house?
Probably most of it, yes.
I bet you ask him if he took pictures of floors in that marble staircase and the marble counter, he could tell you.
Anybody else, yes.
He not paying to replace that shit. That's what he's saying.
$75,000 to clean up the damages, is that right?
I don't know the exact cost. I think I calculated at the time, after all the vendors had been and done their thing, it was about 50,000, I seem to recall.
Now, you said you flew back to Australia with Miss Hurd, correct?
I didn't fly back with
You
her.
flew back to LA from Australia, thank you, with Miss Hurd, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you were asleep for most of the flight, correct?
A lot of it. I think it's a 14-hour flight, so I think we both slept for quite a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, 50K.
You were working on the house, right?
Correct.
And your testimony was that Miss Hurd said to you, have you ever been so angry with someone that you...
And he's the house manager in Australia and the UK.
inquire as to what she was referring to, right?
I mean, by what happened, it was pretty clear what I was referring to.
Let me ask again, you did not inquire as to what she was referring to, did you?
With her answer,
Correct.
she didn't inquire as to my reason for asking, but it was pretty obvious to both of us what I was asking and what her reply was regarding.
Oh, Ben got snippy. Ben just got snippy. He schooled you. Don't bring him to the U.S. and put him in the middle of y'all's bullshit and then try to get snippy with Ben. Ben said he's not having it.
Thank you.
Disrespectful. You welcome, Annie. Ben's like, y'all not playing with me. I've had it. Y'all crazy Americans.
In the UK, correct?
Correct.
And you provided 2 witness statements, correct?
Correct.
And then you provided testimony in court, correct?
Correct.
And if you take a look at page 1103 of your testimony, you see how the pages go in 4s?
No.
He said, no, I don't see how they go in 4s. What the fuck you mean?
You see it's actually on the
Bottom right?
the bottom right, you see that?
Yeah, got it.
And if you actually look at, you see, starting at the bottom of 1102, this was a statement when you said you did not, you say, Ms. Hurd asked you, have you ever been so angry with anyone that you lost it? Your answer is, that's correct. And you specifically remember that.
Oh my God, can you? Oh my God, y'all. What if Ben had seen the poop bed?
If it was said, nothing was said about who was talking about, whether
The fecal phobia. Oh.
Asking you a question.
He would have quit on the spot.
What she was referring to. Did you? I do not recall asking. I know that she was asking me for a question and I gave her an answer. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. And that was your testimony you gave in the UK 2 years ago, correct?
Isn't that what he just said?
So you don't know what, and you don't know what Ms. Heard was talking about when she made that statement, correct? You don't know if she was inquiring that she was making.
Well, what they want him to say, that he's an idiot wrapped in a moron and didn't comprehend what was going on?
And she gave me that answer, so I think we were both, it was pretty clear to both of us what we were talking about. I mean,
And then you went to sleep.
at that point.
And then you went to sleep, and then you had the flight the rest of the
I mean, hello.
Now, and you said you saw Ms. Heard with cuts on her arm, is that right? On the
That's
lights?
right, towards the end of the flight, yeah.
Okay. If we could put up 376G.
They really are trying hardcore. Right. They just want him to act like he's stupid.
This picture?
Then won't be like, I'm not dumb as you are, apparently, but he can't say that.
Did you see cuts like
He's
this?
been brought up better than that.
Why don't we put up 376C?
I want to see what Ben sees. He got Fiji water. They be giving him the good water, Fiji. Better watch, they refilling them, you in the country, Ben.
Long, like I described earlier, long, thin cuts, pretty uniform cuts.
These were the cuts. It was the cuts were like this on her kind of wrist, forearm area. Is that right?
I don't know what the date of this photograph is, but they look pretty uniform like they do here, yes.
Like to enter 376C in evidence?
Any objection?
No.
Okay, 376C.
I won't see it. Do y'all see cuts?
And can we put back up 376G?
I don't see no cut.
Seeing 376C is consistent with the scratches. And 376G are these consistent with the scratches you saw in this hurt?
I don't see a date. Is that the same time? Is that the same date?
Oh, my
these
question is, are the scratches similar to what you saw in this hurt?
These are uniform, kind of long, thin scratches, yes.
I'd like to enter 376G in evidence.
Any objection?
I mean, Foundation he hasn't authenticated the document through this witness.
I mean, I'm just asking if the pictures are consistent with studies. Can you publish it, please?
It is.
Thank you.
But this is her team. Why are they trying? Man.
Okay. Now, you were in the house, you said, for 12 to 13
Looks like IV on there.
March 8th, 2015, correct?
Correct, going into March 9th, 2015.
And you spoke to Mr. Judge when you were in the house, correct?
I had interaction with Mr. Judge, yes.
And you had interaction with Dr. Kipper when you were in the house, correct?
Correct.
And you had interaction with Debbie Lloyd when you were in the house, correct?
Yes, briefly.
She ain't gonna drop it, because watch when it comes from. She wasn't even with Johnny when the shit happened. Watch. That's why she ain't coming forward with it. She got something to hide. When you act like you got something to hide, it's because the hell you do.
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he sustained an injury on one of his
Well,
fingers.
objection, hearsay.
You asked this question.
Oh. Okay, you said sustained an
Ah!
Yes.
But you don't know what caused the injury to his finger.
One of his fingers.
But you don't know what caused, you don't know how his finger was injured,
I
correct?
don't think anybody mentioned it to me at that time.
Right, no one mentioned it to you, correct?
Same objection for hearsay.
Sorry, I'll allow next question.
Now, you understand that there was a phone in the house that was recording during the cleanup, correct?
Sorry, I didn't hear all that.
Did you come to understand that there was a phone in the house that was recording as people were cleaning up?
At that time, no.
But you now know that there was a phone.
I know he just objected to his own question.
Objection Foundation hearsay.
I'm not asking for particular statements.
I'll allow it if he knows.
I believe that came up somewhere later on. At that time, I wasn't aware, but I believe I became aware of it later, yes.
I would like to put up defendant's 378. It's a recording. I want to play a couple of times.
Oh, God.
7 through 1319.
Is that the only segment that you wish to have?
And then I'd also like to play 1951 through 2138.
They don't play.
Again, or is this?
I think it would be A.
Okay, 378. Any objection to 378?
Yes, Your Honor, we do have an objection. I believe this is a recording that has the voices of people other than Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp, and on that basis, it's hearsay. Unless I'm incorrect about which document.
Sure.
They gonna approach the bench and mute again, so we can talk again. He did object to his own question, y'all. Oh, my goodness. The recordings are cray-cray. It just puts you like, you're like, whoa. Chew is not chewing on it. He's not feeling it. That one looks like, you know, Opie Taylor grown up. I know the judge said you asked. Yeah, I'll let you void your own question. Okay. Yeah, the attorney forgot his script for reals. Don't forget, y'all, if y'all can't hit the Cash App and the PayPal, like I said, I think I only need like right at $33. Yeah, Melissa, I saw that a couple weeks ago, actually. Yeah, he did merely forget his cheat sheet the other day. Oh, we got sound again. What's about to happen? Quit wasting the court's time. Get your tail up there. Quit talking to Lavender Vest. Oh.
Going back to the photos that you took for a moment. Of that damage in the house, you recall giving that testimony?
Yes.
The man done woke up and rolled
Depp
over.
ask you for the photos?
No.
Did you give the photos to counsel for Mr. Depp?
Some of them, yes. Yeah.
Did you withhold any photos from Mr. Depp or his counsel?
I didn't withhold any photos from anybody. I didn't withhold.
Did you give all the photos? Did you give all of the photos?
Yeah, Melissa, I saw it happen a couple weeks ago,
All the
though.
photos of the damage that occurred on
I thought.
March 8th, 2015.
They found another one.
You didn't give them all. You didn't give them all to Mr. Depp and his counsel.
I don't believe I gave all of the photos.
Why not?
Because they're a decent amount.
Yeah, they are trying to run the clock out.
So you picked and chose what photos you were going to give to Mr. Depp and his counsel?
I gave an amount of photos to them.
Do you know how many photos you gave to Mr. Depp and his counsel?
I don't know precisely, no.
Can you give an estimate as to how many photos you gave?
I really can't. No, an amount, I don't recall how many.
More than 3?
Yes.
More than 10?
Possibly more than 10, yeah.
Yeah, let them keep going after being Millie, because that just opens the door up. She gets hammered. She gonna get hammered on cross.
Do you know? Sorry, she overruled you.
Oh, okay. Possibly more than 10.
So, but somewhere between 10 and 20, is that right?
Possibly. I honestly don't know.
Could it be more than 20?
I don't think so.
Did Mr. Depp's counsel ask for all the photos?
I don't recall.
Yes, this part was super annoying.
I gave them some photos. I don't recall how many were asked for, requested.
And those were requested in 2020?
Correct.
And I got it sped up, I think. Let's see.
Did they ask for them in this case?
Yeah, we're playing at 1.5 speed, y'all.
You supplied photos for this case to Mr. Depp's counsel?
I believe I did.
And was that about 10 and 20 photos that you're talking about?
I don't remember how many.
How many times he gonna ask?
Was it the same amount of photos that you gave to Mr. Depp's counsel in the UK?
I don't know if it's the same amount. I don't recall.
Did Mr. Depp's counsel in this case ask for all the photos you had of the damage of March 8th of 2015?
All of the photos? I don't think they requested for all of the photos.
He said all of the photos. I love Ben.
They requested for more.
Ben is like, I don't know what they asked for. I just gave them the shit.
Originally, I don't really remember the court shilling with it.
Mr. Walton never asked for the photos?
I don't know if he asked me specifically. He was part of that team, I assume, so...
And you spoke to Mr. Walton, is that right?
I did a couple of years ago.
He's asleep.
Yeah. And he was
He's
part of
been
the team
asleep.
for the evidence you had of what occurred in Australia in 2015, is that right?
He was part of that team, as I understood it, yeah.
Okay. And as part of that team, he and others were asking,
Yes.
for photos from Australia in March 8th, 2015, is that right?
They requested them at some point.
And you provided, and that's when you provided the 10 to 20 photos, is that right?
Photos, correct.
Okay. And then was there a separate counsel that asked you for the photos in this case?
Yes.
It was?
Yeah, I mean, it was essentially the same thing.
She has never turned over her phone and her iCloud nor her pictures.
Part of the team, I don't recall.
And when did they make that request?
When? I don't know a date. I don't know specifically.
Do you know the year?
Yeah, she knows the new acting coach.
I mean, prior to this, obviously.
So it could have been in 2020 that they asked you for the photos?
I think it was prior to that. I don't recall.
So maybe late 2021 or early 2022, is that what you're saying?
Honestly, don't recall which part of the year.
But it's either 2021 or 2022, is that right?
I would imagine that's probably correct.
Okay. And you gave them some of the photos you had?
As I just said, yes.
Okay, but not all.
Correct.
So do you have more than 10 to 20 photos of your phone of the damage that occurred in Australia?
Again, I don't recall the amount.
You have a larger amount on your phone than what you provided to Mr. Depp.
Objection, Your Honor. Ask and answer. Cumulative.
How many times they gonna ask him the same question?
Going to London for a couple minutes. You didn't live at the house in London, correct?
I didn't live there, correct.
Okay. Do you know if Ms. Heard had friends over to the house in London?
She did. They came to stay. Yes.
And they stayed from September 9th through September 22nd, 2014, correct?
I don't remember the duration, but that's possible.
Okay. And they were literally staying at the house, correct?
They were accommodated at the house, correct.
Great. And so you don't know who was drinking the bottles of wine that you brought into the house, correct?
At which point? Literally.
When Ms. Heard was drinking the wine.
Oh, they were all enjoying the wine.
They were all drinking the wine.
I took care of them as I would take care of any guests that came into any house.
And wasn't it 5 to 7 guests that were at the house with Ms. Heard?
I don't remember the number, it sounds about right.
Okay. And then at the end of the night there was 1 or 2 bottles of wine each, right?
When Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard were there on their own, there was certainly that amount, yes.
But you don't know how many bottles were there when it was Ms. Heard and her friends, correct?
Say more.
You don't know one way or the other, right?
I don't recall the count, but certainly more than when there were just 2 of them in the house.
But you don't know
7 extra people, 5 people.
But you don't know the count.
Precisely no.
Yeah, Amber and her friends.
London with Mr. Depp, not with her friends?
A fair amount of that. I don't recall days, no, I don't recall.
So they were there for a month, correct?
Thereabouts, yeah.
And I mean, when I say they, Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp were in London for about a month, right?
Correct, around about a month.
And wasn't it true that for about 2 to 3 weeks, Ms. Heard's friends were also staying in London?
I don't think 2 or 3 weeks. I don't recall, but I don't think it was that long.
You don't know one way or the other, right?
I don't think it was that long.
But you don't have anything to base that on, right? Just what your memory is saying.
Correct.
Well, you asked him to remember shit.
You don't know what happened in London when you weren't there, correct?
You mean after I'd left for the usually the chef was there still when I left each evening, Russell, who would take care of dinner and leave later that each night.
And then after the chef left, you don't know what happened in the house, correct?
I wasn't there.
Right. And you don't know for certain whether Mr. Depp drank wine or not in London, right?
I don't believe so. There's usually, when there's just the 2 of them in the house, there was usually only 1 glass in the morning, either on the kitchen sink or on the bedside stand in the master bedroom.
But you don't know who drank it. You don't know who drank it. You weren't there.
I wasn't there, but when I left the house, I'd already poured Miss Heard a glass of wine before I left, invariably.
But once you left, you don't know if Mr. Depp drank wine or not, correct? No.
I wasn't there after I left.
Okay. And you don't know what started the fights you talked about in London, correct? Other than that one you said you heard about her hand.
The second one that I described, I was in the vicinity. I heard the first comment that was the start of that argument.
And you don't actually know if there was an argument before what you heard, right?
Oh, that evening, I didn't hear another one. I'll put it that way. It started in that room as I described earlier.
And you don't know what happened in Australia also between March 5th and March 8th, correct?
The 6th, I left. Friday the 6th was when I left for the weekend.
Okay, so between Friday the 6th and when you got to the house on March 8th, you don't know what happened.
I wasn't there.
How many times he gonna say he wasn't there after I left? Hello.
Sorry,
you never saw Miss Heard be violent at any time, correct?
Beyond finger prodding and violent, I didn't see people often be violent towards each other.
You never saw Miss Heard be violent at any time, right?
I didn't see her be violent, depending on your...
Show your witness statement where you say you never saw Miss Heard be violent at any time.
Okay. Violence, yes, I didn't see violence per se.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. King, have you ever been employed by Mr. Depp?
No.
So in each of these situations where you've been around Mr. Depp, you've always been employed by somebody else?
Correct.
All right. I'll stay in this meeting. Expect the answer. Next question.
Are you based anywhere other than the UK? Where do you live?
I live in central London.
Have you ever lived anywhere else?
Sustained objection. Next question.
We heard some discussion on Cross about photos, which I suspect you remember. Why did you take the photos of the property damage in Australia?
As I do, and a lot of my jobs from various assignments and jobs through the years, I take photos as points of reference for whatever reason. I mean, if I'm packing suitcases up and they're going to be in transit and I'm not with the suitcases, I'll take a picture of contents and when I send stuff so I know it's gone and what's gone. I take pictures as points of reference. Sometimes take pictures of table settings that I've done, or which I know I can use later on as reference.
Were the photos of property damage in Australia the first photos that you've taken in the course of working with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard?
Objection legal. All right, I'll take it. Next question.
Had you ever taken photos before?
Yes.
What kinds of things have you taken photos of?
In London, reference points and dinner table settings. Sometimes Mr. Depp would write notes for Miss Heard, would leave notes on sort of kitchen table when he left for work. I believe I took pictures of those. They were, there, things like that. Just setups of, once I set up houses, it's always good to take photos of rooms so I can cross-reference later on if I need to.
Did Ms. Heard or her counsel ever ask you for photos of any of the photos you took in Australia?
No.
Next question.
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to say, hold on. I'm gonna have to pick the rest of this up tomorrow. I'm gonna have to take care of little man. So, let's get the pics on Ben's phone. Okay, hold on. Let's get to that.
Family room. There was the TV was wall mounted on that wall in between fountain. The one that was the spillages as well. That smelled like alcohol to me.
I don't think the pics are on here.
Has anybody else ever asked to see your photos? Nothing further.
All right, is this witness subject to recall?
Yeah, they.
All right, so since you're subject to recall, it's important that you do not discuss your testimony with anybody and do not pay attention to the trial and don't watch anything about it.
All right, guys. I'm going to say peace, love, and light. Remember, if you can, please hit that PayPal. I had to come up with like $33 more to make sure I can go to this funeral and that I can get this procedure took care of. All right, thank y'all. Anybody that wants to message me privately knows how. Thank you, guys. Peace, love, and light.